Uh,
I heard you.
that's the best you'll get from me.
Mad Dad.
He's a
Mad.
mad
Oh,
dad.
there we go. It's okay.
Unconfirmed.
I was shooting them with rocket launchers. They're alive. It's okay.
All right, you guys ready to do this?
Hit record first.
We are recording, you goofball.
Are you sure? Hit the
Yeah.
button again.
That's the shortest episode ever.
Yeah.
And done.
Yay.
Hello, welcome to Show Boys. My name's Mike. I'm joined by my good friends, fellow hosts, and just lovely people overall. Pixel Nick, Chadwick III, and Dad. And we're here to bring you our 2023 Year in Review Awards What's Playing edition. Last week we did our What's Watching Awards. This week we're doing our What's Playing Awards. But before we get into that, how are you guys doing? Nick, how was your day today?
Doing good. A little tired.
Yeah.
Gearing up for a long weekend.
Yes.
You know, things are well. Things are well.
Nice.
How are
this
you?
is I'm doing good. A busy day at work, but we're recording this the Thursday before Christmas, but this will be coming out after Christmas, so we're all prepping for, busy Christmas weekend, I'm sure. And I hope you guys had your future selves had great Christmases, and listeners, I hope you guys had a great Christmas. But Chad, how you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm here, alive.
Not
Ready to
working.
roll.
Not
with me.
working.
And Dad told us he was mad, so he's the mad dad tonight.
I'm mad, Dad.
What's going on? Why is Dad mad?
I don't want to talk about it.
Is it better than being sad?
Yeah, and tired.
So you're just mad. You're not tired or sad.
Just mad.
Okay.
That's not right. That's not accurate. I'm just irritated with people. People are just really stupid sometimes, and
We're right here.
yeah.
You gotta talk about us in third person.
Yeah, geez.
I'm not talking about you guys.
Oh,
rude.
Calm down, Mr.
Call him
Sensitive.
the rude dad.
Rude.
I'm bringing out the aggressive part of the aggressively mediocre. I'm fine. I'm here. I'm ready to do this.
Ready to deliver some awards?
Yes.
Nice. But before we can do that, we got to shout out our top tier patrons, of course. We have the lovely Tim B and Yusuf H. Thank you guys so much for your just amazing support. I mean,
Undying support.
You guys have been top tier patrons for a very, very long time, and it means a lot to us. Thank you guys. And all of our other patrons. Actually, I think all of our patrons in total have been patrons for a very long time. So thank you guys for your continued support. And if you would like to be thanked for being awesome, and if you would want us to think you are awesome, head over to patreon.com/showboyspodcast and sign up. Come on, what are you doing? No, I'm just kidding. Only if you're financially able to support us, please consider that. But we're just happy you're here watching or listening. And you know what you can do to support us that is free. You can subscribe or like or follow or review us wherever you're listening to this on. That means a lot and helps us out in the algorithm. So
Thumbs up.
Thank you guys. But now that we got that out of the way, we have some awards to dish out. And this week, we're looking back at our year in gaming. So all the awards tonight, just like last week, they do not necessarily have to be given to games that were released in 2023, but games that we played in 2023. And we have a handful of topics here, just like last week. We have our lovely survey that a few of you guys partook in. Sadly, Discord was not a survey. Survey.
I know who that was.
Oh, you do? Can you spill it, or is it top secret?
It's not top secret. It's
Okay.
Billy, who we had on for the Spider-Man 2
Okay.
He's like, I thought they just wanted to know like what I was using.
That's hilarious. Well, thank you, Billy, if you're listening.
He's not currently,
Yeah, I don't think anyone is currently
but he will be.
listening. You know what? I'm going to choose to continue to call him Discord, though.
Yeah, that's a
Billy's
cooler
now
name.
Discord.
That's acceptable. I will
Yeah.
I will let him know tomorrow when I see him.
Your
Okay,
name is
I like
Discord.
it.
Your
You now
name is
represent all of Discord.
all of Discord.
He
had a
rests
good-
on your shoulder.
He had a good laugh when I told him that.
Oh, that's good. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, let's just. Do you guys have anything like burning in your chest that you need to, get out before we get into these categories? Or are you guys ready to just dive right in?
Let's roll.
Let's roll. All right. I like it. So let's start off probably with Chad's favorite character category. Maybe second favorite, but we're gonna lead things off with the
Multiplayer?
best. No. Come on, I know Chad better than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would you just get that one out of the way?
The only thing
Actually, I
Chad
have two
hates-
games, believe
Oh,
it or
wow.
not.
The only thing Chad hates worse than multiplayer games is like 30 FPS. But I mean, those are like
Xbox
that's
games.
pretty
It's
much it.
It's
right?
a trigger word for him.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we're gonna knock out best single player game. I'm sure Chad has quite a few bangers for his nominees, but
Absolutely.
let's start off with you, Dad.
Nice.
What were you?
misdirection.
Yeah.
Nice
You like that? You like that?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Best
geez,
single
he's-
player game?
he's getting
Oh, my
mad.
goodness. There. See
Now,
anything red?
unfortunately, let's just get this out of the way. You didn't fill out the survey, so I can't tell you
I
what
know.
your
what
answers
you
were.
chose.
I did that on purpose.
If you forget.
It's right here. Okay.
Oh,
I
nice.
may or may not be filling it out as we go, but
Stop
it's
picking on
there,
Dad, Mike.
dude. Dang it, you're not down the road anymore. I can't come to your house and kick you in the nuts.
Just produce more carbon emissions and you just sink his ass into the sea.
Dad's playing the
He doesn't
long
have
game.
very far to go, so
Yeah.
True, yeah. So a couple like 10 years, you'll get me.
man, there were some really good ones. But obviously, I have a couple because I've played a couple. I have Sekiro.
Okay.
I have
nice.
Dead Space.
Nice.
I feel like there's another.
I forgot that it came out this year. Did
Yeah.
it come out this year? Like
The
very
rain-
early, right?
Yeah, super early. And of course, Spider-Man 2. It's obviously going to Spider-Man 2, but I freaking love Sekiro as much as I'm irritated just by the mention of its name.
That's actually why he's mad tonight. He was playing
That's
Sekiro before he.
That's how I work myself up. I just play some
That's the
Sekiro.
mood.
If I want to be pissy about something, I just play Sekiro and it just sets the whole night. Dead Space was so much fun. I've encountered a lot of fun bugs with that game. But it's like I said, it definitely goes to Spider-Man 2. Best freaking story in a game that I've ever played. And it's Spider-Man. I mean, obviously. There's so many good things about the game. Venom. Craven was amazing, and I'm not a huge Craven fan, but Chad, you talked it up even before we talked about it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is going to be really interesting, and it really delivered. You know, he was freaking amazing. If they ever do like a live action Craven, they need to base it off of him
Yeah, I agree.
because he killed it. He killed it.
They are.
Did he kill Spider-Man?
No,
They are. He did not. He did not.
he could not because
Could not.
someone got to him first.
Yeah.
I do have a question though, because there is a live action Craven coming.
There
Okay.
is.
I wonder. I mean, I'm sure the studio, the suits and stuff, planned things out, but I wonder which was in development first, like Spider-Man 2, the story with Craven, or the movie or if they're like, hey, we're planning on either making this game or making this movie, like let's kind of do them both at the same time.
My
that's an
my
interesting
guess
question.
would be the game, because they probably started the ideas for the second game after the first game.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
it had been production for a while. Yes.
yeah, since probably after Miles, which came out in I think 2020. Probably before, actually before that, it would have been 2018, because I think that a different team worked on Miles.
Well,
But
they probably
I-
knew where they were going, right?
Yeah. I think they knew where they were going with some aspects of the game, Venom specifically. I don't know that Craven is hinted at even in the remotest way in the first game. If that's even a word, I might have just made that word up. I'm trying
cares?
to think.
Own it.
I don't think out of everyone that was hinted, I don't think Craven's hinted at in that game, and it makes sense the way he's introduced in the second game, where he was not really on the radar in any capacity, right? He just kind of rolls up to New York. So, yeah, that's an interesting question about the. I have my concerns with the Craven movie. We'll see after I watch it. I could just be misremembering, but I don't remember him having, like, in the trailer for the movie, they have him like, I think getting like a tiger's blood dripped on him, or like in a wound, or in his mouth, or something that gives him like tiger powers.
Yeah,
And that's
he's on that
just-
Charlie Sheen Tiger's Blood.
Yeah.
diet.
So I don't. Jordan probably answer this better. I don't remember him having powers per se. He's just a badass hunter, and that's the entirety of his character. Maybe there are arcs out there where he does have tiger powers. Sounds ridiculous, but but who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the trailer looks okay. I like that actor that's playing Craven. I can't remember his name off the
What
top
is
of
his
my
name?
head.
Didn't
Aaron
he play
something.
Didn't he play like Quicksilver in the MCU, and like who was awkwardly like Scarlet Witch's brother, and then
in the first, so you got like recast by somebody else.
and
They
it's
brought
like
in-
it's awkward because they played husband and wife in the 2014 Godzilla movie with Bryan Cranston, and they're like
yes.
making out and stuff. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
you're related in another thing, and I can't get that other thing out of my head, and now I'm just scarred.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So yeah, Spider-Man 2.
Spidey, nice. I'm gonna save Chad for last on this because I feel like he's gonna have a lot to say because this is his cup of tea. So I'll go next. Looking back at my year, I think I played to completion. I'll just tally them up real quick. 18 games. So not an incredible amount, and probably close to half of them were Pokemon games. So just forewarning. But
I was gonna say, dude, you slaughtered me as far as how many games you played.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, you slaughtered me.
Oh wow, that's shocking. So anyways, for best single player game, I have the nominees as Dredge, Hades. I couldn't pick between Banner Saga 1 or 2, so I'm just lumping them in as one experience because that's kind of how they play. And then finally Gears Tactics. So it's like a very hodgepodge list of games there. They each have their strengths. I think Gears Tactics was super fun. I mean, story-wise, it's like a Gears game, so you're not getting anything, crazy there. But that game really surprised the crap out of me with it being a turn-based tactics game, and it was relatively deep, and there were a variety of different strategies you could employ in each encounter, and a lot of different squad compositions that you could do, which kind of caught me off guard with how many different routes you could take with that game. which is what earned it, a nomination here. Super fun. Banner Saga, great story. I've talked about it at length before in other episodes. But I think it comes down to Dredge or Hades. Hades, of course, I'm a couple years late on this game, but I've also talked at length about this on a couple of episodes. Nick and I have talked a lot about this. So I'm going to talk about Dredge. A game that I didn't see coming, and then as soon as I saw it, I was like, I think I will love this game. It's a fishing game that is set in a Lovecraftian type like horror setting, and
Okay.
it's like fishing sim / like inventory management / like super stressful and eerie and foreboding Lovecraftian horror. And it's just like
What a
the
combo.
perfect blend of all three of those things. It does each part equally well. The story, which, hey, it sounds weird that there's a story in a fishing game, but like it's there and it's behind the scenes, but it's done very, very well. And things that you can, find naturally as you progress through the world and catch fish and all that stuff. It was a blast. It really was very fun, hard to put down, very great to play in short little bursts here and there, especially on the Steam Deck, and being able to play on PC and then on the Steam Deck and switch back and forth. So it's between Dredge and Hades for me, and I'm gonna have to give it to Dredge. Like, very fun, and probably not the prototype like archetype game you would think to win like best single player game, but it has no multiplayer, so it meets the criteria, and I loved it. Nick, nominee
Dredge. You picked
and
Dredge.
winner. I picked Dredge.
Wow.
You guys should try it out. It's pretty cheap too.
It's got me intrigued, I'll tell you that.
Pretty cheap. Pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap.
Yeah. I've played, I think, nearly 100% single player games this year. Outside of like one, not trying to look at my, yeah, it's been all single player games this year. But I got a handful of nominees, right? Valheim's always nominated for best single player game and best multiplayer game and everything.
Yeah.
But I played a variety of things. Played Hades as well, like Mike mentioned. And I completely forgot how many games I tried this year, which really rocketed up my Steam like games I played. Sitting at like 42 for the year, which is quite a bit, and like half of those are new this year. Steam Deck was a big part of that. But we can't forget that I also have PS5, and I've played a couple games on there this year. Can't do Origins. I'm just like chipping away at achievements at this point. That's not fair. But Red Dead Redemption 2 and Sekiro are definitely two big ones up there. But for me, the winner this year is Red Dead Redemption 2. All my games I've played to all the games on this list that I've picked are mostly very well played through. So like I wouldn't give it to Sekiro because I haven't beat in Sekiro. But so Red Dead gets it because I beat that game. I really enjoyed that game, and once I picked it up, I really kind of couldn't put it down. And because it's just a phenomenal game. It's like one of the best stories I've ever played. Right? It's definitely like top 5 stories. And I was talking about it a little bit in Discord with Civ. And it's really about like the cohesion it has with the world, the story, and the gameplay. Like nothing breaks you out of it, and it's just so cohesive from beginning to end, and a great story on top of that. So as far as like a single player experience, there's a multiplayer element, never touched it. Red Dead 2 takes it from me to the point where I even see people talking about it online, and like people talk about like multiple playthroughs, and there's still things that they pick up on, or like conversations they hear people in camp talk. Like they're like 5th playthrough, just heard them say this, totally changes my perspective about this character now. Just little stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal game, man, and it as far as immersion goes, it's hard fought to find another game as immersive. I think Cyberpunk is creeping up there for me immersion wise, and I think that might just be because it's first person. Like, you're so well immersed into that world because it's first person, and it's very for all the shortcomings I think first person games have, like melee combat and first person usually sucks. That's why I don't play like Dying Light or anything like that. The katana bat fighting in Cyberpunk is freaking through the roof good, like amazing. But yeah, Red Dead's up there as far as the immersion, as far as any game that I've ever played. It's just the most immersive, and it's because of what Nick said, where a lot, like, yeah, it's got a great story, but a lot of what you get out of the game is the stories that you make that are just random events that happen. You know, you roll up to some, and how you deal with it. Yeah, you roll up to some house in the woods, and a husband and wife are fighting, and the freaking wife shoots the husband and wants you to like help. It's just random stuff like that just makes the game amazing. And also, I've said this multiple times on here, I'm like a total sucker for poker mini games inside of open world games, and it's got the best feeling poker mini game where you can just like roll up to the salon, grab a drink, sit down and play poker. It's just, yeah, immersion wise, dude, it's unmatched.
Yeah, and I continuously see, like, someone posted that depending on your notoriety, like whether you're good or bad affinity, there's aesthetics about the game that change. So like a general like color to the game changes depending on which way you are, and then like the like spirit, not that they're spirit animals, but there are like apparitions that you do see. Those animals change. Like there's a fox when you are more on the bad side, and there's a stag when you're on the good side. So like just little things like that. Yeah, and every mini game in that game is just incredibly fun.
It's so good. All of them are so great, and just like the hours that I spent just like hunting in that game, like hunting down, whether it's hunting those legendary animals, hunting the perfect pelt to get the next jacket that I want, or everything around the hunting in that game is phenomenal as well, which you wouldn't think that. I mean, I guess Cowboy makes sense. It has a good hunting mini game, but it's like better than hunting games are. You know what I mean? So it's super. And then there's like super rare horses that you can find. And I remember like the white horse. I'm like obsessed with white horses. There's a legendary white horse in that game that I spent like a freaking hour trying to capture, and it was like one of the coolest gaming moments that I've ever had, as I'm just like trekking through the wilderness trying to find this horse, and it's totally off script and off story. You know what I mean? So
that, and it's a period piece, like through and through. Like it really gives you a sense for like what life must or could have been like in 1899, which is a really fascinating time because it's like the turn of the century, the end of the cowboy outlaw era, right? The cops are coming in and civilization's taken over, and it just really makes you think about what life used to be like not really that long ago. 100 years ago. Well, that's like 120 years ago now, but it's not that long. It's wildly different.
I would do just some nasty, dirty things for Rockstar to make a freaking samurai game. I literally would kill for it. I probably would kill for it. Because that's what most of these games are missing is that level of immersion in a samurai game. You don't get it. We're going to talk about a samurai game I played this year that has a hefty amount of the immersion quality, but Red Dead just outdoes everything next to The Witcher. I mean, The Witcher does it really well too. But yeah, great pick, and one of the best endings to a game that I've probably ever played in Red Dead 2. Yeah. Just the entire way that everything pans out at the end of the game is freaking phenomenal, and not ever seen in games.
No spoilers, because it's in my library.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just the the way they make it feel like a movie, and like the pacing of it is just so on point for how the end comes together. It's just crazy because you just feel it. Whereas like sometimes games kind of like lag a little bit where they're still being a game. Like somehow it really knows when to shed the game portions of it, and like you are in a movie right now, and
Yeah.
it's intense. It's
Yeah,
good.
Awesome.
it really does. I mean, yeah. I mean, literally the horse's testicles shrink when you go into cold weather. That's how immersive and realistic this game is. Like, why, for whatever reason, the developers were like, we need to put this in the game because people are going to say, oh my God, the horse's testicles are big. They should be small right now because we're in the snow. Whoever thought of that at Rockstar. I mean, that's why their games come out so freaking perfectly every time, because the immersion quality and the freaking realism is there. So, and please, Rockstar, release a PS5 patch for God's sake, so I can go back and play it.
Mm.
Okay.
Good stuff. So Red Dead Redemption 2. All right. Well, hey, Chad, we're up to you, man.
We are on to me. So I have 4 nominations for best single player game this year. I will start with Jedi Survivor. Yeah, man. For my money, the best Star Wars game that you can go play right now. And I played it right at launch when it was, I don't want to say broken, but there was a lot to be worked on patch-wise, and still had the time of my life. It's awesome. Huge open world that you can explore. I mean, it's massively larger than the first game. Like maybe 3-4 times the size of the first game, and just a great Star Wars story through and through.
Nice.
And Cal is becoming one of the best non-live action, non-animated characters in all of Star Wars. And there's been a lot of really good ones in video games, and he's at the tip top. And we really need a live action rendition of him because the actor looks exactly like it's a no-brainer. We've talked about it a million times.
Make it happen.
It's like they did it on purpose. Like
Right,
they were
yeah.
going to go that direction anyway.
And then they didn't do it for whatever reason. Like, I feel like there's been multiple shows that have come out that would have been the proper moment to introduce them. And they even hint at it a little bit, you know? So
this little droid in
droid,
season
yeah.
3 of Mando.
There's a running kind of meme in the Star Wars online meme community that, you know, Dave really just brings characters from animation or other things into live action to kill them. So
yeah.
Cal's probably going to come to live action. He's going to meet a very fatal ending.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great, man. And if you liked Fallen Order, you will absolutely love this one because it just amplifies and makes everything in that game significantly better, significantly bigger. Yeah, I mean, just go play it if you like Star Wars. Not the open world game that most of us want, like a huge open world Star Wars universe.
Like
Someday maybe we'll get it. I don't know. This is close, probably as close as we're gonna get for now, at least. My second game is Like a Dragon Ishin, and this is the samurai game that I was talking about. This is the Yakuza spin-off samurai game. And this is also the game that I made that Japanese account to try and go play. And you can look up that story in one of our previous episodes. But they finally remade it, which is cool, and released it in the West. And this game's amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's the era of samurai that I think of, 1800s. It's much small. It's a Yakuza game. So it's like it's not an open world game. It's like a small section of the town simulator, I guess is the best way to put it. You know what I mean? It's not huge. You're not traveling by horseback between anywhere. It's just a really good, really dense area to explore. And it has a hefty amount of those immersive qualities that I'm missing in Ghost of Tsushima or Sekiro or any of the other samurai games. If you want to go gamble for freaking 10 hours, you can do it. If you want to sit down in a bar and have drinks with people, you can do it. All that stuff is in there. Phenomenal game, well worth the wait. Wish it had an English dub. It doesn't. Oh well. My third game is Tears of the Kingdom. Father. Was that the other game that you were missing? I almost said something to you, but I didn't want you to be like, oh no, that didn't make my list.
It was.
Okay. So Tears of the Kingdom, phenomenal follow-up to Breath of the Wild. This game will always forever hold a huge place in my heart because of the way that we played it in this house, like the boys and I together. I mean, we had freaking sleepovers upstairs where we had Zelda stuff. It's still actually all up. I have the Hylian shield still up on my wall over here. I got posters of Zelda, and I got stuff all over the place.
That's super cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. All three of us were playing it at the same time. Roman and I must have came up here 100 times from release of that game till we beat it to just lay in bed and play together. So it was awesome. I also want to say that it's really cool to take literally the exact same world from Breath of the Wild and change it so radically that it doesn't even really feel like that same map. Now, when I heard that originally, I'm like, I don't know if they can pull it off, man. It's going to feel like a DLC to Breath of the Wild, and it does not,
Dude,
in the slightest.
So I've gotten to the main map, obviously, by now. And I've finally gotten to the underground section. That section is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's so freaking cool how they like tie everything in with the roots and stuff.
So good, dude. And the coolest thing about that is, so the marketing for the game was the Sky Islands, right? And really the Sky Islands in the game are not that big of an area. They didn't even remotely say anything about the depths. Nope. And the depths is literally the same size as the original Breath of the Wild map, just underground. So it's cool. Literally huge. It's massive. So cool. And I also like, Castlevania Symphony of the Night is one of my favorite games of all time. At the end of that game, if you do the ending properly, you can get an inverted castle. So you literally double the playtime of your game by getting a specific ending where the castle turns upside down and then you go back through it all upside down. And that's cool. What the depths reminds me of, because mountains up on the surface are canyons down below. So it's everything's mirrored. And it's, really cool, awesome game. I think they did a great job with it. And then my fourth game is Spider-Man 2. And I don't want to mirror too much. I mean, Dad said pretty much everything there is to say
we could probably
it.
Spend the rest of the time talking about Spider-Man 2.
We really could. Honestly. We really could. And we did an episode on it. So if you want to hear our thoughts on it, you can go watch the episode. But yeah, Kraven,
we're very passionate about the game.
Yeah, we're very passionate about Spider-Man 2. Kraven, phenomenal. Great rendition of the character. I'm a big Kraven fan. Loved it. Venom in this game is freaking phenomenal. The entire symbiote story is like a huge nostalgic thing for me as a kid, and Insomniac's rendition of that story is unmatched.
Best Venom.
Best Venom.
And
best
the fact
symbiote.
That we could play as Venom.
Oh, dude. So good. So good. Literally, I felt like a little kid on
destroying
Christmas morning,
everything.
Playing.
Oh my gosh. It was the best thing ever.
Absolutely phenomenal. For my money, Spider-Man 2 blew my expectations out of the water. My expectations were huge. So that's saying something. So this easily goes to Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Nice. We have a few people in our Discord that don't understand that. That's okay. I'll let you spectrum out on them later. Our survey from our lovely people, they said, Ben from Dragoon Effect, he said Alan Wake 2 for his best single player game.
Oh.
BioCiv said Yakuza Like a Dragon. And Ugly Kid Joe Cross said the Mario RPG remake, because I can't choose Tears of the Kingdom for everything.
Right.
But Mario RPG was his favorite game from his childhood, and the remake held true, he said. So I actually do want to play that Mario RPG, whether I emulate the old one or get the new one, but looks like it would be pretty cool. Let's move on here. We got Chad's least favorite category, best multiplayer game. So he capped us off on the single player. We're going to let him start us off with the multiplayer.
Super short.
So believe it or not, I was actually surprised that I had really one game on this category. I don't know that this other game really counts per se. It does in theory. But I do have two games for the multiplayer. I have Madden 24. That's the one I'm talking about. Like, it is a multiplayer game per se, and I do play it multiplayer.
You play it with your son?
Yeah, I play it with Brady. So Madden 24. And then the other one is Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon.
Oh, yeah.
And man, we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. but this one's going to go to Armored Core Fires of Rubicon without a doubt for me. Madden is Madden. It's the same every single year.
Yeah.
There's little fluctuation in that. Fires of Rubicon was truly something old being brought back and given a fresh new coat of paint. So for my money, Fires of Rubicon.
How does the multiplayer work in that?
So there's 2 different modes. There's a 1-on-1 where you're just 1-on-1, obviously, and then a 3v3. And you can bring in whatever mech you want to. The other guy can bring in whatever. And there's just a huge amount of customization in the game. So it's really cool to play through the matches and just see all the different things that people have built in the game. And as you play it more, you start to learn like the positive and negatives in multiplayer with specific weapons. So you'll see like, oh, of course, this dude's got this. I'm going to get my ass kicked. Or, oh, this guy's got this. I know exactly what to do to avoid this. So, yeah, it's super cool. I loved seeing the builds. Awesome building game too. We'll talk about this more in a different category here later on. But yeah, easy category win for me.
Very nice. Nick, multiplayer games, do you have any?
I got one by technicality.
Valheim.
When I play with my friends, Valheim gets multiplayer game of the year for me.
Dude, every year.
If I want a multiplayer experience with with more than just me, Valheim's the place to do it.
I mean, that
Tell
is the
everybody I'm
definition of multiplayer.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we've had some great times in the last couple weeks. I mean, we're just building roads through swamps. You're like helping me recover my corpse that's like 3 miles away from our safe fort, continuously dying by death mosquitoes in the plains. It's been a real good time.
Mike's like his own quest giver. He's like, hey, we need to go get my body over here. 10-minute walk later, I'm like, dude, I'm so far away from everything now.
The best was you helped me get it, and I was like, oh, sweet, thanks. All right, I got to get off. And then I just like literally leave. Nick's
Mike.
stuck like so far away from our base.
Dude, his dead body is on the coast. I'm like, we could have been here in a boat way faster. We're Vikings. We don't walk places.
Yeah.
Per se. If it's by the water, we definitely take a boat.
Yeah.
But no, let's walk
good
there.
Times. It's a good time. Yeah, I should have seen that one coming. Dad, multiplayer games.
Yeah, so
Roblox.
a good chunk of multiplayer games I've played this year. Spider Heck, which came out this year. Overcooked is a fun one on the Switch with the kids.
I've had that on a wish list for a very long time.
It's very fun, but very irritating, especially the more people you add. Doing all these different things.
Irritating for Dad.
Have you played the game?
Yeah, I don't like irritating games. That's
you're
why I'm
trying to cook.
Sekiro.
You've got different recipes while orders fill up on the top of the screen. You've got to create this, put it on a plate, and send it out within a certain amount of time.
It's really fun, dude.
It's so much fun.
It's a great multiplayer game.
And yeah, I mean, it's a good time. It's just there's certain levels that are like
very
oh my
hard.
gosh,
Yeah.
If I like slide around this freaking iceberg another time, I'm gonna throw this freaking controller.
If you have anxiety, not the game for you.
Or like you're on a ship and it's like rocking back and forth with the middle part going, so you have to like adjust every so often. Or like there's good.
It's a great game to play with people that don't play video games too. When that game came out a while ago, I think.
It is right now on the Switch. The Overcooked Special Edition, $4, and Overcooked 2 is $6.24.
Yeah, that's
definitely
a steal.
Worth it, man.
And especially to play with like your girl, like it would be perfect to play with the girls.
Yeah.
But the first one, when the first one came out, Kirsten and I played it, and she doesn't play video games, and also doesn't handle stress very well. Yeah, I think she had a good time.
Can I ask you?
It's a lot of fun.
Real quick.
Yeah, it is. It's fun.
So Okay, I just had to make sure she's not like sneaking around the corner. But we got our oldest a Switch Lite for Christmas.
Nice.
How like because that would be really fun to buy this. It's only $4, so I get 2 copies, right? But like, how does that work with having 2 Switches?
So
Like,
Do
you
you
would have to
link
play
them
it.
together?
You would have to play it online, I believe, or on one Switch.
Yeah, but like, how do I buy it? Like,
Just
Oh,
buy
you
one.
mean yeah,
play it
just
on
buy
yours.
one, and there's a way. And I made this mistake with Tears of the Kingdom where I literally bought 3 copies of the game when I could have probably just bought one. There is a way to buy a game and share it between consoles and play it at the same time. You'll have to look it up. I don't know the specifics of it, but there is a way to
Okay.
do it.
So I know that you
Interesting.
can, if it's on the same account and you buy it digitally,
Yeah.
you just choose which profile you play.
Oh,
But
when
it's-
you
if-
start the game up. Okay.
Yeah, but if you're gonna play together, just sign into your account and add the controller for the
Right.
second player, and they're just there.
Yeah,
True.
I will.
Didn't
I
mean
will
to derail
say
this whole segment.
this
Thanks
is
a lot.
coming out after Christmas.
Only
Right.
when it's my turn.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is coming out after Christmas.
Okay, I will say that I think you probably made a mistake buying the Switch Lite, because we are upgrading Roman's Switch because it has really bad stick drift, and the
Yeah.
the Switches are notorious for stick drift, and that literally, I mean, bricks the console on the Lite because you can't replace the controllers on the side. On a normal Switch, you just go buy a new pair of Joy-Cons and call it a day.
True.
But I have a feeling Roman plays a lot more games than my Kickstarter is gonna be.
Yeah.
relevant.
But
Maybe.
but his point is valid. Like if you buy like the controllers, bad. I would always get the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, it's. I got to be honest, Nick. I don't even think it has anything to do with the amount of time that you're playing a game.
They're
It
just
literally.
known for that.
I've had Joy-Cons go out after playing like one game. They start getting stick drift. They're just notorious for stick drift, and stick drift,
Still learn to play
especially
around
with
it.
like a lot of the games that Roman plays, like Zelda or any of that stuff. Hollow Knight. It bricks the console essentially. Like if a Link is walking off the ledge that you're trying to get him close to because you have stick drift, there's a
You
problem.
can't.
There's
That's
a problem.
hilarious.
And I'm also
Oh,
kind of
man.
jealous because he is getting the OLED Zelda one. So
Yes,
I'm
that's what I got.
A little jealous. Yeah, that's
Nice.
exactly what you got.
It's so good.
Nice. But anyway, sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
Yeah, Overcooked's a lot of fun. Lethal Company, which is a newer game that came out. You can play by yourself or with other people. It's a lot crazier with other people. BattleBit Remastered. We played a little bit of that for like
Oh yeah.
a couple rounds.
Very little bit.
And of course Valheim. And it's actually, now that I'm kind of getting my bearings with the game, I would have to give it the Valheim. It's one of those games that you can play solo, but it's much better with friends. Even if they're in other places far away.
This is true.
Um,
I had a really good time watching. I got on because there's like 6 people on the server. Everyone was basically in pairs of 2 doing their own thing, but everybody was in the same voice chat.
yeah,
It was ridiculously
it
amount
was.
of fun. Somebody was streaming what they were doing. The other 2 were loud enough. You just knew what they were doing. You could see everybody on the map. It was a good time.
I think Joe and I were streaming, if it's the same one you're talking about, because
Yeah.
I told you to join us because there were so many people in the game on the server.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Shout out Showboy server. Join it. Come play Valheim with us.
So yes, Valheim.
Valheim. Okay, so we got 2 Valheims and an Armored Core. So I have Pokemon Unite. Played it hardcore when it first came out a couple years ago. Then hadn't touched it for probably close to a year, and a couple months ago, it got brought up in Discord, and then a few of us, went kind of hard in the paint grinding some ranked, and I had fun getting back to it. It's been fun. I need to get back to it and get up to masters again. Can't let Joe just sit up there all by himself. Shout out Ugly Kid Joe Cross. Yeah, so Pokemon Unite. Plus, they've added like a whole crap load of new Pokemon that you can play as, which is always awesome for one of those live action or live service MOBAs and things of that nature. They just added Metagross, one of my favorite Pokemon, so I got to get on there and try that bad boy out. Of course, Valheim. If you have listened to Showboys for any amount of time, you know how Nick and I feel about Valheim. I took a little bit of a break. You know, I had to kind of, I don't know.
You had to move.
I had to move. Well, my break started before the move, but
No,
you know,
It didn't help.
It just like I was just always living on that the fever dream, like the nostalgia of the canal project. I mean, that was such a fun project, building that canal and adding like 300 lighting fixtures on the paths, like such a high from that project, and then like nothing could live up to it after that. So I was just like, I can't do this anymore. The server that the canal is on, it's gone. Like, what am I supposed to do now? I don't have lighting fixtures to go reload with resin for like 20
30
minutes.
minutes to do this.
But then one day Nick was just like, Mike, I want to build a mountain castle. And I was like, say less, bro. And then next thing you know, I'm just chopping trees and picking stone and mining iron, and the needle is like fully, like, it's so far in that like you can't even see the needle anymore. Like like the whole like apparatus is almost like into my arm. It's been a blast. I love it. Valheim's great. I also have War Tales on here.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We dabbled a little bit in the co-op.
Well, co-op, yeah.
It was very fun, very fun. Also, a game that I didn't realize I played so much of this year, because it was like my most played game of 2023 in my Steam recap.
Wow.
Which I was like, oh yeah, I guess I did play that a lot, like when it first came out. Super fun, and it was really fun the times that the three of us played. Fun little turn-based tactics.
That was.
I think I was more
a lot
aware
of
of how
fun.
much you played, because I would play, and then it always tells you your friends and how much they've played recently. You were well into like 40 hours played recently. I'm like, good Lord, son. Like, I played 8 hours and
Can you tell me that for Valheim right now? Like, while I'm talking about my other game, which was BattleBit Remastered, we dabbled a little bit in that. It was pretty fun. Hard to get into the FPS games for me though, but
that
I
not
did
being
have fun
Steam
with it,
Deck,
yeah.
that not working on the Steam Deck was like what broke it for me, because I was really looking forward to playing that on the Steam Deck, because that
I
would
wonder
be
if they've fixed that yet.
primo. Yeah, it's something to do with the anti-cheat software. I haven't checked in a while.
Oh
but
yeah.
that would be top notch to play that on the deck.
Oh yeah, and like I'm gonna get like absolutely blasted for this statement, but like I can't play FPS games with mouse and keyboard.
That's right.
I always had a console up until like a couple years ago. So like
Yep.
trying to now play FPS games with a mouse and keyboard, I'm just like, I might as well be trying to play this left-handed. Like it's so bad. And they didn't have, because of the anti-cheat stuff that Nick was talking about.
Yeah.
You couldn't do controller support on Steam. So I was so bad. I mean, not that I would have been much better with a controller, but oh gosh, I just died so many times.
We all did.
Yeah. With that
36
being said, what did you say?
36 hours.
I know.
Oh
I
man.
thought it would be higher, so I don't feel as bad. I think Civ's surpassed 40.
That's over 2 weeks. A period is how it calculates that.
Oh no, Civ's
Jeez.
only at 30.1. So
What am I at?
interesting. You are guess what you're at?
50.
Not even close.
What?
19.4. Jeez.
Wow, dude.
grossly overestimating.
All right,
the
here's
amount-
the thing. This is my last thing to say about Valheim, and this is because I'm a little bit OCD about my playtime in games. You and Civ AFK so much in that game. Your play is broken.
That's
true.
probably true. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's really just today, Nick, that
Sure.
the AFKing was happening. But it did happen for a while today. Not gonna lie. But yeah, with that being said,
Did you pick
I got
it?
to give it to Valheim.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
Valheim.
it's the game.
It's the game.
It's the
Yeah.
game.
All right, next. Survey says best multiplayer game. Ben from Dragoon Effect. He said Street Fighter 6. Your lovely bio assassin, formerly known as BioCiv, Valheim, and then Ugly Kid Joe Cross. The Division 2. This has always been one of my favorite franchises, and I'm excited for the future. He did go pretty hard on the
He
Division
did.
2.
Well
several months ago.
deserved, though.
Yeah. All right. Next category: best mobile game. This is probably going to be a quick one. I'll start us off. I don't play mobile games, but I had games on here because before the Steam Deck was purchased, I would emulate games on my phone. So all the games in this category were games I emulated. They were Pokemon Infinity, Pokemon Conquest, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Sky, and not an emulated game, but a game I would play while watching Twitch, and that would be the Pokemon community game.
Just say Pokemon and they all win.
Yeah, I can't do that.
You can.
It's a toss-up. Honestly,
Dude,
man, this is
shut
really is tough because
It's not awesome.
it really is because each of the. I mean, I know you guys do not know Pokemon, so you hear Pokemon and think they're all the same game, just a different skin. But Infinity is a fan-made traditional Pokemon style game. Pokemon Conquest is a turn-based tactics like triangle strategy, like chessboard style Pokemon game set in like a samurai like aesthetic, which is super cool. And then Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, you are a Pokemon and you're like going through these dungeons trying to rescue other Pokemon, and it plays. I don't even know how to describe how it plays, but it's very, very odd. But I'm gonna have to give this to
Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon probably. With the Pokemon community game, I finished my Pokédex this year and got my shiny charm, which is awesome. But I'm gonna have to give this to Pokemon Infinity. Great fan game. Very creative with the fake Pokemon that they created and introduced in the game. Interesting story. And I may or may not be picking this as a shameless plug for Pokeboys Season 4, which is coming in the next
Knew it was coming.
few months. So Pokemon Infinity, pretty good. Other ones were honorable opponents. Dad, best mobile game.
Well, this will be easy. I don't play mobile game. Well, I do. I want to like mobile games. So I download a game that looks cool, but I end up deleting it because I get bored with it. Like I am like constantly like on the searching for that game.
I got that game, bro.
You don't.
Yeah, I do,
He does for him.
bro.
Snap.
No.
You don't even know.
Okay, I'll wait.
Because you're looking in all the wrong places, bro.
It's not your
You're gonna
turn
learn today.
It's not your turn, so you just wait.
It's not your turn. So shut up, Nick.
But seriously, like I've tried like football games. Like I do enjoy Madden, and they have a Madden mobile, which is not what
Sounds bad.
it's not what you expect. It's like you play offense the whole time. No defense. It probably unlocks later on, like level 50 or whatever, which is done.
For like
just give me the whole freaking game.
Price of $10.99, you can unlock.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. but you have like a certain power of your team to unlock certain levels and whatever. It's dumb. I deleted it. I don't know. I just can't like. I've got so many other things to play on, so my phone is kind of just whatever. But if I do play, it's usually Roblox with the kids or Minecraft with the kids. I've also been forced against my will to play Pokemon. There's a cool fan-made game called Pokemon Bushido, which has been a lot of fun, actually. Kind of
that's right.
Ignited a passion for Pokemon that I didn't know I had.
Preach.
And also Pokemon Uranium, which is kind of like, I haven't really gotten too far into it.
The fan games that started it all.
But I can't even pick one because I just don't care.
You guys, so wait,
like, mobile games aren't what they used to be like years ago. Like,
I agree with
they're
that.
Kind of like they've just kind of gone off on their own side. Whatever.
General question, Mike and Dad, the way these last two picks have gone for you two, you guys do have your winners already picked, right?
Yeah, right.
No, I don't have any of
you
my.
Guys are very long.
Picked.
You guys are very long-winded. I can't talk though because I was pretty long-winded too.
Yeah, I was about to say
I'm not long-winded. What are you talking about?
No, it's not long-winded. It's just like you spend that time debating in your head. What's the winner?
Yeah,
there's no winner for the mobile.
Okay.
Okay, glad we unpacked that.
You're welcome. Someone else can go now.
Mad Dad. Mad at us now.
No, I'm not.
All right, Chad, mobile game.
This will be real easy. Don't play mobile games. Don't even have one to put on the list.
Nice.
Nick?
Score. Yo, this. Oh, I guess this isn't the breakout game of the year. Maybe it should be. I'll think about that before we get there. But Warcraft Rumble is a fantastic game.
No,
fantastic.
It's not.
Oh,
it's terrible.
It is.
It's so bad.
Have you played it?
Yes, it's so dumb. I played it for like 15 minutes and I deleted it because it was so retarded.
Oh my god, it's so good. So good.
You can have that one. That's okay.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great game. Great time killer.
I wanted to like it.
Game. If you played World of Warcraft, or actually any Warcraft, it's really good.
I have, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, Warcraft Rumble, great game. I think it's like Clash of Clans. I never played that, but I think that's basically what Joe Cross said when I described it to him.
Clash Royale?
I don't know.
Clash Royale is a fun game.
Is it
That's
like
what
Warcraft
it reminded
Rumble?
me of. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Warcraft Rumble's better.
No, it's not.
Because it's set in the Warcraft universe, and it's just a
that doesn't make it better.
Yes, it does. So you can pay to win in this game,
which makes it stupid.
Have to, but you don't have to if you're not lazy.
Which makes it
and you're
stupid.
good at it.
I changed my name. That's my name.
Yeah. All right. So, Warcraft Rumble. Okay. The survey says, Ben, he says Street Fighter Duel. Big Street Fighter fan this year for Ben. Civ has a big old NA. And then Ugly Kid Joe Cross. Marvel Snap. Cards on the go. Yes, please. Should have seen that one coming for sure. Next category. We have the best Steam Deck game, and we all have Steam Deck, so we can participate in this. Nick, why don't you start us off, sir?
Best Steam Deck game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, there's so many good ones, and that's the best thing about this year is that that's unlocked a lot of games for me to play. Because I've said this a million times, when I'm sitting at the computer, there's certain types of games I'm looking to play. But when you put them on a mobile device or a handheld gaming device, I guess it's not technically mobile, it really unlocks my attention span for a lot of different types of games. So I've tried a ton, and that's why I probably am surprised at how many games I've played this year on Steam, but it's because of the Steam Deck. But I have to give it to Hades for Steam Deck Game of the Year because
good choice.
It's just a great. I mean, it's good on the PC, but like something about the scope and scale of that game just like fits well on the screen. Everything is like really easy to see and understand. Nothing's really lost. And just the pace of that game too. Like it's just a nice small scope game. And it's
Yeah.
fast too. And that's the other cool thing
it's
is like
super-
you pick it up, do like a 20, 40 minute, depending on how far you make it, just cruising through it. Plus you can just
Dude,
Put it
turn,
sleep.
put it to sleep and just power it right
Yep.
back up and you're good to go.
watching you guys play, shout out to this. When you guys did your runs, it was so freaking fast. Like when I played it, I'm so bad at the game. But watching you guys play it, I'm like, oh man, okay, cool.
Well,
It's super fast paced.
We played more than 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, you played like a freaking hour.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I played it longer than 15 freaking minutes.
Shots
Shut your
fired.
face.
Yeah, I want to get those videos Dad's referring to for some content that we haven't released yet, but plan to make a
Maybe.
lot of content down that path. But I'm excited. Hopefully, Nick, you can figure out a controller situation because we're recording that stuff on PC, and Nick was trying to play with a mouse and keyboard, and I could not imagine trying to play Hades with a mouse and keyboard. That would be insane.
That would be ridiculous.
I didn't do too bad. I was surprised at how well I did. I couldn't believe I
You
made it
did.
to the last fight on a mouse and keyboard for the first time. So
Yeah.
That was
I just
crazy.
have to get the DualSense hooked up to the computer. That's all I have to
Do
do.
it. Chad, Steam Deck game?
Yes.
Got
Yeah,
one?
so I have I have a couple nominations. They're all older games because for whatever reason that's like what I gravitate
Naturally.
towards on the Steam Deck. But one did come out this year. So my first one's Persona 4 Golden. Vita game that came out, what got me into Persona, what got me into anime, what got me into all that stuff. And it's significantly better on the Steam Deck. PC graphics on a really old game. I mean, it puts the Vita to absolute shame. Great way to play the game if you haven't played it yet. Second one is Persona 5 The Royal. That's the one that came out this year. I literally waited to beat this game until it was available on a handheld because in my eyes, because I played Persona 4 Golden on the Vita, that's just the way to play a 120-hour RPG is on a handheld. You just have so much more flexibility when the game's that long, right? And then the other one is Sekiro. And I played Sekiro this year on the Steam Deck. I played a hefty amount of mods on Sekiro this year on the Steam Deck, and mods that really blew me away. And some of the mods, like the actual gameplay tweak mods that totally change everything, it's literally like a sequel to Sekiro. Through and through. Different enemy types, different setups, a story going between them all, and extremely difficult. And that's saying something because Sekiro is already extremely difficult, and I'm very good at Sekiro, and this game absolutely kicked my ass. But my winner, hands down, is Persona 5 The Royal. I'm so happy that I waited to play this until it was available on a handheld. Played it day one, put like 150, 160 hours into it. Absolute phenomenal game. And really itching to play it again. And Persona 3 is coming out in February, the remake for that. I'll be playing that on the Steam Deck too. It's literally becoming my Persona machine.
Nice. Dad, Steam Deck game of the year.
Oh man.
Best Steam Deck game.
Well, I've played a little bit on the Steam Deck. I played Spider-Man Remastered, which was freaking awesome on the Steam Deck. Played a little bit of Hades. Played a little bit of Sekiro. That's what I play Sekiro on, is the Steam Deck, and it's perfect for it.
It is.
Got a new game called Necess. It's like a Terraria meets Stardew Valley. It's just a fun time killer for 15 minutes at least. No, nothing. Okay.
I was picking up what you were putting down there.
Yeah. Thanks. Someone paying attention. I played Prey,
Mm.
which was cool on the Steam Deck. Endless Dungeon is a fun one. But I would say probably Dead Cells. I got a lot of time on Dead Cells, especially when they dropped the Castlevania DLC.
Oh,
that
dude,
was
I so badly want to play that.
some of the weapons, and actually, I'll save it for later. So Dead Cells for sure for the Steam Deck.
Nice.
I like
nice.
some Dead Cells. I need to get into that more. The issue with Dead Cells is I picked that up and started playing it while I was still doing Hades. So as the
Yeah,
Hades thing wears off, then I'll probably go in the Dead Cells when I want to scratch that itch. But that's a cool game. And also another thing that's just superb in the handheld experience.
yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I definitely need to play both Hades and Dead Cells. They're on my list, but this year's just been a little absurd as far as the games go. So
Right.
maybe
I think
next year.
I think they're probably both on sale right now during the winter sale. So
Everything just
I
hit,
might
I
have to
think.
get on there.
Yeah.
Oh, look right now.
Yeah, and great deck games. So
Yeah.
hard to argue with that. So my nominees: Hades, of course; Dredge, of course; Gears Tactics actually plays pretty great on the Steam Deck. And then Ori and the Blind Forest, another older game that I played exclusively on the Steam Deck. Whereas
Beautiful
the
game.
other three, oh dude, it's so great. The other three games, Hades and Dredge, I played the majority of the time on Steam Deck, but I also played on PC. Gears Tactics, I probably split pretty close to 50-50 between PC and Steam Deck. Ori and the Blind Forest, I played exclusively on the Steam Deck, and it was just, I mean, it's a great game, but perfect for handheld, I feel like. With that being said, man, it's really going to be between Hades and Ori and the Blind Forest. Gears Tactics and Dredge, while great on the Steam Deck, I almost preferred playing on PC, like marginally more than the Steam Deck, but they're phenomenal Steam Deck games. As great as Ori was, I'm gonna have to give it to Hades because it's just literally plays like butter on the Steam Deck. It's the gameplay is phenomenal. It graphically looks great, but just what Nick was saying, to add on to it, like the fact that the runs in Hades are generally short anyways, but then being able to just like put it to sleep, like go through a few rooms, put it to sleep, come back like 30 minutes later, play for another 10 minutes, make it through another couple rooms. It's just portable gaming is just too clutch at this phase of life.
Yeah, and
right.
honestly, that was super like sensible and convenient for Hades, right? Because it's such a quick game, but also you can quickly step away. But does that work with any game?
Yeah, you can do that for
Yes.
any game.
Yep.
That's
But it's
incredible.
just Hades naturally is like tailored to like short burst sessions, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had several sessions that were pretty long, but like it's just tailored to like a quick little 20, 30, maybe 40-minute play session.
And also, once you get used to the game and like all the weapons, you don't have to remember what you're doing. Like I've turned on 5 days later. I'm like, oh wow, I was in the middle of a run. Okay,
Yeah.
let's slam this out real quick.
Yeah.
I would do that with Dead Cells too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so Hades wins best Steam Deck game. Moving right along, who started that? Did I ask Nick first? I asked you first, right? Next oh wait, we got to do the survey. Which is easy because nobody who did the survey has a Steam Deck.
That's sad.
But
Lame. No, I'm kidding.
actually, that's not true. I think
what are you doing with
Ben
your lives?
from Dragoon Effect, I think he might, if you're listening, Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, you might have a Steam Deck. You put an answer, so I'm going to assume you did, or I'm going to assume you just put a good Steam game. So, but Ben said Choo Choo Charles. At first, I thought it was
Oh,
Civ answering
man.
that because he did play
Dude, that
Choo
game
Choo
was
Charles
ridiculous.
recently. But yeah, Spider Evil, Thomas
Train?
the Engine chasing you sounds terrifying.
Nightmares.
Yeah, it sounds miserable. Yeah.
So we have best PlayStation 5 game, and Chad, I'm gonna let you do the honors as our resident Sony fanboy among pretty much all Sony fanboys. You're probably the biggest of this crew.
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually have only 2 nominations for this one. The first one is The Last of Us Part 1, the remake of The Last of Us, which was phenomenal for a game that I necessarily didn't think needed a remake. It came out, plays freaking amazing, looks amazing, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm probably gonna buy The Last of Us Part 2 remake when it comes out too. So yeah, they're doing their job well over there at Insomniac. But yeah, great way to play the game. If you've never played it before, this is definitely the one you should be playing at the current moment. And then the other one, obviously, Spider-Man 2. I was super long-winded about Spider-Man 2 earlier, and Spider-Man 2 gets my Best PlayStation Game award, hands down.
Nice.
Obviously, there's only two. I kept it exclusively to games that were only on PlayStation. So,
Dad.
So I recently got a PlayStation 5 for Spider-Man. However, I did also pick up a certain samurai game, Ghost of Tsushima. My pick is Spider-Man 2, although I feel like Ghost will be...
it'll get there.
I think it might surpass Spider-Man 2. So we'll see. But for now, it's Spider-Man 2.
Where do you think those two stack up, Dad or Chad? You guys name run, and
So I think they're pretty neck and neck, honestly, and they're radically different, right? So it's hard to compare them side by side, but they're both amazing first-party Sony games. And if you're just now getting a PlayStation and you haven't played any of this generation, any of the PlayStation games, those are the two that should be at the absolute top of your list.
I agree.
Nice.
Tsushima is easily one of the most beautiful games I've ever played in my life. 800 screenshots on my PlayStation say so. Spider-Man is the freaking pinnacle of Spider-Man gameplay, especially once you get the symbiote powers, dude. My God,
Yeah, dude.
so good. So
coolest.
yeah, hands down, easy picks when you're buying your PlayStation. Pick those up.
Nice. Easy for me. I don't have one, so I've got nothing. Nick.
Hey, well, the good thing is Sony is actually interested in selling you the PlayStation 5 as a console to own in your home. So go out and buy one because they're happy to sell them to you, unlike other companies that don't want to sell you their console.
Yeah, right.
Well, they'll try. They just won't tell you if or when, how many they've sold.
Yeah, we know why now, don't we?
We sure do.
I predicted this, by the way. If you go back to the beginning of the year, I predicted why they weren't showing their sales numbers. Oh, it wasn't even the beginning of the year. It might have been a couple episodes ago, actually.
It's come out a few times.
And then you posted it in Discord, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. 3-1.
So PlayStation 5 game last year would have been Tsushima because that's when I played Tsushima. Gorgeous game. So this one for like immersion, I can't give the Origins. That was the episode we didn't do 2 years ago. So it's not that. But the beautiful game that I played on the PlayStation this year is Red Dead Redemption 2. And that's my PlayStation 5 game of the year. I played a handful of games on the 5, and it's hard. Everything's just so nice on the 5. Even like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, that was one of my honorable mentions here. It got a PS5 upgrade though. So it's actually really nice on the 5, even though Red Dead doesn't have a 5 upgrade. Maybe I shouldn't count it, but played it on the 5, and it's a great game. Runs beautifully, smooth,
So,
immersive, good time.
I have like literally no memory of this whatsoever, but when I looked at my games that I have played on the PS5 while I was doing this, Kakarot is on there. And I have no memory whatsoever of playing that game at all. So I don't know if it was like a demo I downloaded and played briefly.
You must
or
have done a demo, because I know you've talked about because you wanted to play, because you wanted to go on like a kick there and get into it. But I feel like we would have talked about that, because that would have been big news. You've been like, I bought it and I'm playing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's like some weird dimension I jumped into where I thought I played this game and I have no memory of it.
All right. Survey says Ben, Alan Wake 2, BioCiv, Mortal Kombat 1, and Joe said Merp because he doesn't have a PlayStation 5.
Merp.
Moving right along. Best Xbox game. I will start this one off. Don't have an Xbox, so that's a big fat nothing burger for me. And I feel like that's going to go around the horn. But, well, you know what? Here, you know what? I'll say Gears Tactics. Sure, I didn't play it on the Xbox, but Gears is a well-known Xbox, IP. I played it on PC. What are you going to do? It was a great game. Gears Tactics. Any of you three have anything to throw in here?
I actually do. Yeah, I actually do.
Oh,
what?
Okay.
So yeah, don't get too excited here because I do not own an Xbox and I did not play a single Xbox game this year. But I did fill this category with games that are also on Xbox that I played on PlayStation that haven't got the shout out they deserve so far.
Okay.
And one of them I think doesn't deserve a shout out, and we'll get to that later. But it's a stretching here. Okay, so the first one is Hogwarts Legacy. I really love this game. I thought it was the gameplay is amazing, the world's amazing, everything they did was incredible with the game. I just have little to no. I don't even know how to say this. I have like no nostalgic feeling for Harry Potter because I literally didn't watch the movies until I started playing this game. And normally that works for me. Normally that's how my kicks start. My new kicks is I play a game and I'm like, holy shit, this is really cool. I'm going to go find stuff that's similar. And for whatever reason, it just didn't this time. And I don't know why. And on paper, Harry Potter is everything that I really should be into. But I don't know. Wasn't jiving. I did play like a good chunk of this game. I think it's phenomenal. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you haven't played it, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Second game is Alan Wake 2. We'll talk about this later. So put a pin in that one.
Stop teasing
and then
us.
My winner for the category is Dead Space Remake, which absolutely blew me away. I have never played Dead Space. I have no ties to the original game whatsoever. This game's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal through and through. From the lighting to the sound to the gameplay, everything about it is perfect. So it's an easy win for me.
Yes.
On the non-existent Xbox console that I have.
I like it. Hey, there's a loophole. It can be played on Xbox.
There is.
So I think you're fine.
There is.
Dad and Nick, anything from you guys?
I've given up on Xbox.
Nice.
Amen.
Okay, so survey says Ben, Street Fighter 6, BioCiv, now known as BioAssassin, Vampire Survivors, and Ugly Kid Joe Cross. I'm surprised, maybe he didn't
Starfield
look ahead and see the loopholes that we have, because he put Merp again because he doesn't have an Xbox, but he has played many games because I believe he does still, but did at one point have Game Pass. So he's playing Xbox games via Game Pass.
Yeah, I could have swore he had an Xbox.
Yeah, I thought he did.
I thought he was playing Starfield.
He plays on PC. So he played Starfield.
Through Game
He's played many Xbox games. So I'm going to go out here.
Aren't even exclusive to Xbox anymore?
maybe he didn't. Did he like Starfield? Maybe he hated it so much he's like, can't
He
even,
liked
can't even
it.
put
He
it
No,
on
liked
he
there.
liked
Can't
it.
even put
He,
I thought he
yeah.
did. Yeah,
Loved
So
it.
I'm just
one
gonna
of 3
go
people
ahead.
in the world.
You know what, Joe? You know what, Joe? Joe picked best Xbox game Starfield.
Nice.
Did he really? I don't know. Actually,
He did.
technically, no, he didn't. But I did for him.
I was gonna say,
Well,
I think
my-
we know the answer to that.
My brain is still broken that Game Pass lets you play Xbox exclusives on PC.
It's Microsoft.
It's Microsoft.
Yeah, that is true. But then what's
Welcome
the
to
point
their
of buying an
failing.
Xbox?
Welcome
That's-
to their
welcome
failing
to-
platform.
I'll just
Yikes.
shout out Chef Yak, former Discord member. Rest in peace, my friend, wherever you are being angry.
He's in his server.
Yeah. That was his whole point. Anytime Xbox was brought up and he like hit the spectrum and like gave himself an aneurysm, like typing out 1,000-word messages in Discord about how much he hates Xbox. That was like his whole thing. It's like, oh, Game Pass is ruining the game industry. Like, why even buy an Xbox? And we're like, yeah, no, we all agree with that.
But he's
But-
still so angry about it.
But as like a consumer, I love Game Pass because you can pay $10 a month and I can play like brand new games and other Xbox titles on my PC and not have an Xbox. Does it make sense in my brain for a company who sells consoles, apparently not really sells consoles, but like pretends to want to sell consoles, to have this ability? It makes no sense, and that's
They have-
probably why
they have
they don't
failed.
sell consoles.
Hey.
But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty nice as a
Xbox,
PC
you have
gamer to
failed.
have that
Yeah,
option.
it is. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So we are on to the best Switch game. Dad, you want to start us off here, my friend?
Sure. All right. So, really fun year gaming on the Switch. Played a few games. Played Hollow Knight, which is irritating.
It's on sale right now. I'm thinking about it.
You
It's
should.
been on my wish list for a very
You
long
You
time.
should.
It's
Roman
beautiful
loves it.
game.
It's a
Beautiful
beautiful
game.
game. Yeah.
Overcooked obviously is on there. Spider Heck is on there. Dead Cells was on there also. It's like everywhere. So cool story about Dead Cells. I had not beaten the game by myself since I got it.
This is a great story.
So I was actually trying to think of some Patreon content like Mike and Nick had done with Hades. So I talked to my son Patrick about maybe trying to do something. Switch, I can't do that. I can't record on my computer because you need certain things, whatever. But he came up with the idea. I'll give him credit. We were going to both play Dead Cells, each having a Joy-Con. So he had the movement and I had the jump. I mean, he had some of the power-ups with the top buttons. I had jump, attacks, top bumper buttons. We beat the freaking game playing it that way. Ridiculous.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
We also had some really, really good power-ups, weapons, whatever. Now we're trying to do that with Hollow Knight. It's not going so well. It's not going so well at all.
It's a harder game to do it with.
It really is. And we got super lucky. But very fun. Dead Cells on the Switch is a good time. However, obviously the winner is Zelda. Many hours played. Not even like I can't even tell you where at in the story I am because I'm just wandering around, shooting myself up into the towers, collecting the map areas, just messing around with all the different things you can do, like just exploring, trying different weapons, just doing whatever, it's the coolest game. And it's so nostalgic for me because I didn't play a lot of the original Zelda games on Nintendo, but I did play Ocarina of Time, which was freaking amazing. Their first jump into 3D. So this is like, yeah, this game was made for me. Like my inner child is gleaming. It's so amazing. And all the things you can do, like I said, they just really pushed the bar on this game. And the sad thing I heard is that they're thinking about stepping away from this and doing something different. Kind of sad about it, but I'm also very excited with what they plan on doing next.
Yeah. It's you know, it's kind of a shock actually that we got Tears of the Kingdom, because it's not really their MO to do the same thing again, basically, or the same kind of game again. If you look at all Zelda games, they pretty much adapt.
But they did Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were like in the same.
Yep. I was just gonna say those are the only two that went kind of back to back like that, in the same kind of style. So I'm bummed about that too. I think this is peak this era of Zelda's peak Zelda. So I'm bummed about it, but I'm excited to see what they come up with next.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Tears of the Kingdom.
Nice.
All day.
Chad, I feel like it's going to be ditto.
Yep, it is. It is Tears of the Kingdom for me. The only game I played on the Switch this year. We've talked about it at length at this point, but yeah, it's a easy win because it's the only one. But even if there was 20 games on the list, it probably still would have won. So,
and this is another reason that I bought a console was for this game.
Right. And that's how I was
totally
with
worth it.
Yeah, and that's how I was with Breath of the Wild. And you said you're not nostalgic for Zelda, but you played Ocarina. So this game made me super nostalgic because I played Breath of the Wild, and there's like music tones that are the same, and like the music at the stables is the same, and it's like that song will forever be ingrained in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of good nostalgic stuff in this game while making it seem so radically different from Breath of the Wild.
Nice. Nick, what was your favorite Switch game this year?
Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
You enjoy that on the that nice OLED Switch you got?
Nope, never opened it.
Shout out. Hey, guess what, guys? We're still trying to give it away. So subscribe. Once we get to 1,000, we'll give it away.
Yeah, let's do it. Go.
For me, let's see. Best Switch game. As I was looking through the nominees, I was like, oh, why don't I have Ori and the Blind Forest? Because I didn't play it on Switch. But my nominees are Banner Saga 1 and 2, Octopath Traveler, I wouldn't say only. The only games on any of my nominations this year that I did not complete are in the Switch category. Octopath Traveler being one of them. And I'm talking about the first one. I haven't started the second one because I haven't beat the first one yet. But really super fun game. Obviously, the 2D HD graphics, like one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. Triangle Strategy uses this. Octopath 1 and 2 Alive does it. Looks great. Really cool turn-based tactics game. Was really enjoying it, but this was a game that I don't actually own, and I only played it when I borrowed it from the library. So rip, because
that's gangster.
Let me tell you, apparently the senior citizens that populate Fort Myers, Florida, do not go to the library looking for Switch games because our library has no video games, and it's quite sad.
Oh, bummer.
Man, so like a third world country. Jeez,
I know.
Yeah,
you guys don't understand how good you have it up there.
Do we have it so good?
You
we have
walk
like
into
futuristic libraries that have
the North Canton Library. I just doxed all of you guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. But bro, that library has like
solid.
I mean, you might as well just be walking into Best Buy looking for a game. They have everything.
You really should. It's not
insane.
lying.
It's so good. Like if you guys, I say this all the time, and I'll say it again because I'm missing it right now. If your library offers video games, take advantage of it. It's so nice. That's how I beat Triangle Strategy, another game that I did
Yep.
not buy. I borrowed it multiple times and beat it twice for the podcast. Like, it was amazing. Take advantage of your libraries if they have video games. The other game that I did not complete that I kind of liked was Tales of Iron. Really cool game. I do actually own this. Maybe someday I'll go back and beat it. And then, of course, Pokemon Unite. But this, I'm going to have to give to Banner Saga 1 and 2. Just super cool game. Basically Viking caravan with an occasional like turn-based tactics battle. But I know I didn't really sell the gameplay for you guys there.
No,
but
you didn't.
the story of these games, it's a trilogy. Stories connected between all three games, obviously. And much like the Mass Effect games and some other handful of games out there, your character and their skills and the characters that survive and die in 1 carry over to 2 and then carry over to 3, which is really cool. But it's just a super interesting story. I really, really, really enjoyed it. So much so that when I beat 2, I went back and replayed 1 and 2 right after to get the other story outcome. So for me, Banner Saga 1 and 2. Still waiting for 3 to go on sale on the Switch, and it literally never has.
It won't.
I
Yeah.
own the trilogy on Steam because I got it for like very, very cheap during the summer sale. But I
You don't
want
wanna
to play
lose
it on
all your
Switch
progress.
because I want to carry that save file over, but it literally
Yeah, I actually
has not gone on
bought
sale.
them. Yeah,
Yeah?
I bought them on the Steam Deck. Yeah, I bought the whole trilogy on the Steam Deck.
Yeah,
I've
it's
haven't
super
gotten
fun.
around to them yet, but I played the
You-
first one
it's-
for a little bit.
You have to
maybe on
you
the
have to be in a
Switch.
mood. You got to be on a
Yeah.
vibe, like, because it's not
Yeah.
it's a lot of like sitting there like reading through dialogue scenarios, and
Yeah,
then you get a battle.
that's painful.
When you go, like, my first playthrough, that's how I felt. I felt extremely let down when I first played it like a year ago, because I was not expecting that. But then when I went back and replayed it, knowing what to expect, I was like, oh, this is actually really, really cool. But yeah, Banner Saga 1 and 2, best Switch game. Let's go to the survey. Ben from Dragoon Effect says Super Kiwi 64, BioCiv.
Oh, what?
Ben has a very wide
Bizarre
range
taste.
of games that he plays. Just go to our Discord and look at his like year in reviews from like all the gaming platforms.
Oh, I need to make mine public.
BioCiv says Sonic Origins Plus, and then your boy Ugly Kid Joe Cross, he joins the bandwagon Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, he does.
All right, best PC game. Nick, can you lead us off here?
I sure can. I play. It's tricky because PC games have a certain flavor for me. I play a lot of like RTS games. Dune was a nice special one that popped up this year for me because that's an enjoyable kind of RTS. Age of Empires 4, War Tales because of Mike. The big sim one I got into this year, the Colony Sim. It's a Surviving Mars, super cool game. Very fun, kind of like an evolution of a cheaper game I played on Steam for quite a bit too, called Planet Base. But yeah, I guess. Well, and there's some others that came out this year that I thought I was going to get to, but I just never got to, and for good reason. So like City Skylines probably could have been in there if it would have released not broken, but there was a lot of very, the usual, just upset people out the gate. It'll probably be a fantastic game in a year, and that's when I'll buy it. So the issue was I didn't really get to a lot of new PC games this year, outside of just like what I would consider Steam Deck games. But this one's lame. I'm gonna have to give it to Valheim, because like if I want to sit down on the PC, it's the easiest plug for me. Like it's the quintessential PC.
It's your go-to. It's your go-to.
Yeah, it's my go-to.
Yeah.
It used to be Civilization. Civilization 6 has fallen below to the number 3 spot on my top played games on Steam, Valheim is currently gunning for Civilization 5, which sits at number 1.
What was that game I watched you play with the Japanese Kingdom?
Oh, you watch Three Kingdoms? Total War, Three Kingdoms?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
That
That's
looked
also
pretty cool.
I forgot. I played that a bit earlier this year. I'm currently in a weird state with my Total War games because I want to play. There's a really good mod for an older one. It's the Napoleon one, but there's like a really good mod for it that I want to get into. I want to get back into Three Kingdoms. I picked up Total War Shogun 2 this year. Very like fantastic game. It is probably the most immersive, like story driven Total War game I've ever played. Like Chad, if you were into Total War games, I would just say go straight for like Shogun 2 because it's the tactical 4X for samurai in Japan.
Yeah, I've been very intrigued by it.
Yeah,
over
and
the years for sure.
Yeah, and then they say the best what's better than it is the DLC, which brings in Fall of the Samurai, and they bring in muskets and and European factions, and it's samurai versus that. So it's insane.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Valheim.
Yeah.
Chad.
So yeah, I have a gaming PC, but it's basically like just a giant paperweight at the current moment. So I will put my my Steam Deck game on here, the pick for Persona 5 Royal, which released on PC this year. That's how I was able to play it on the Steam Deck, so that's the winner.
Nice, Dad.
All right. So obviously I have Valheim. I have Dead Space, Armored Core 6, Generation Zero, which is an older game, and then Lethal Company. All these games were super fun. However, I'm going to have to give it the Dead Space.
Nice.
I love this game when it was first out on the Xbox, which is where I played it. A lot of good memories with this game. A lot of frustration and irritation. Shocking, I know. Terror, yes.
Anxiety.
But with this remake, that terror was like up a bunch of extra notches.
Yeah.
Like you said, Chad, like the sound design, it's just haunting. And, you know, it is kind of like sticks with you after you play it. Like looking over your shoulder, like you feel like there's something coming after you.
Yeah, for sure.
Such a good game. It's number one for me on PC.
Number one.
Michael.
I have a lot of the same games that have been on my list all night because the PC is one of my main gaming platforms. Nominees are Pokemon, this gym of mine. I had to look it up, make sure I played it this year. I did. Fantastic fan-made Pokemon game. I have an entire playlist over on Showboys Gaming YouTube channel. Go check it out. Super fun. Super cool twist on the Pokemon universe. Of course, Hades is on there. Gears Tactics is on there. Dredge is on there. And then a game I'm currently playing through right now and we'll beat. When will we beat it, Jeff? In a week or two. That's Pokemon Bushido. I honestly, it's really between Hades and Dredge, and it's a coin flip.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they're both kind of like Chad was saying about Ghosts and Spider-Man, like vastly different styles of games, but like they're both absolutely amazing. And I'm gonna have to give this one to Dredge because while Hades translates like swimmingly to PC from Steam Deck, I still prefer Steam Deck over PC. I'm used to it. It's quite possibly could be like the perfect Steam Deck game.
Wow.
Dredge, I had a fantastic time playing it on the Steam Deck, but then I loaded it up on the PC and I was like, holy crap. Like it feels more comfortable to play. It like just controls are just a little bit smoother, and it's nice. Both games, viewing them on the larger screen, Nick will attest to this with Hades. Like it looks nicer, and you can see and notice things that are potentially harder to see and notice on the smaller screen of the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
But I just loved sailing around in Dredge with a bigger screen, like seeing all these crazy like Lovecraftian fish trying to like sink my boat, and super fun. So I'm gonna give it to Dredge. Though it was close, Hades was right there neck and neck. And the survey says Ben from Dragoon Effect, he says Choo Choo Charles. Civ says Red Dead Redemption 2. I know he and Nick had quite a nice dialogue going throughout, the year, essentially talking about Red Dead as they both worked their way through it. I think Civ like fell head over heels for this game.
He really
He
fell
was,
into it.
yeah, he was really,
can't blame him.
Nope.
right. I'm excited to get into this game at some point. And Ugly Kid Joe Cross, he says Starfield, suck it, Chad. So he did play Starfield and he did like it. So Starfield wins twice for Joe, Xbox and PC. He didn't vote for Xbox. I put it there. For
Yeah, I
him.
was gonna say, wait a second.
I'm just doing him a favor. But hey, we're coming down the home stretch here, guys. We only have a couple more categories. Finishing up, of course, with Game of the Year. So hang in there. We're getting closer. And this category is the best gaming device. I'll start us off. Nominees for me: the Steam Deck, my PC, the Switch, or even back
My PC.
specifically my computer.
That's funny. My PC.
And then before my Steam Deck era started, I actually have my phone on there because of all the emulation I did on my phone. The Pixel, not a bad emulation machine. Just gonna throw that out there.
It's good.
But I mean, come on, this is obvious. Steam Deck, duh, like greatest thing that's ever been invented. Having essentially your whole Steam library accessible in the palm of your hands on the move, plus like could possibly be the best emulation machine that exists.
It's a handheld computer.
Yeah.
I was
That's
when I was
amazing.
trying to mess with getting Valheim to work, the dedicated server on there. I was just like laying in bed messing with it, and my wife looks over. She's like, "Are you on a computer?" I'm like,
Yes.
"Yeah, it's actually a full on PC
Yeah.
behind this pretty screen if I want it to be."
Yeah, like trying to get
absolutely.
some of my Pokemon fan games to work. Like I plug in a mouse and keyboard, and I'm like, like literally using it as a computer. Yeah. Steam Deck wins hands down. Dad, your best gaming device in 2023.
Man, there's a lot of good ones.
Sounds like you added a few to the family this year too.
I did. So I've got Steam Deck, PS5, my PC, the Switch,
How dare you?
and the Oculus.
Oh, I forgot you bought one of those.
Yep,
Lots
got
of
that.
additions to the family.
Last Christmas was the Oculus.
Oh, okay.
For the kids.
Just happened to get Resident Evil 4 for the kids.
And some other crazy games. I will say Five Nights at Freddy's is ridiculous on the Oculus.
Dude, okay, just to clarify, this is coming out after Christmas, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we are getting one for the boys. I'm so freaking excited. I can't wait.
Dude, they
So
will love
excited.
it. They
And
will
Brady-
love it, man.
Brady literally just said it was the only thing he wanted. And I've been telling him the whole time that he's not old enough to play it, which really I don't think he is. But I don't care
Oh.
anymore.
Oh, how old is he?
He's 10.
Oh, dude. My
I
7-year-old
think you're supposed to be,
plays-
yeah, I think you're supposed to be like 12.
Yeah, no. My
But I'm
7-year-old
like, I
plays all the
can't,
time.
whatever, dude. I'm giving in.
This one was really tough to decide, because I played a lot of great games on all of these devices. But I'm gonna have to give it to the Steam Deck. I mean, you got your whole freaking Steam library on there. It's a nice change from PC to the Steam Deck. I can play in bed. I mean, I can do that with the Switch, but
True.
the Steam Deck's a freaking machine. Like, it's just, I mean, they're all machines, obviously, but this is a freaking tank compared to the Switch.
Yeah.
PS5 obviously is amazing. My PC I've played so many really good games on it, but definitely the Steam Deck, just for the mobile part of it,
Yeah.
is nice. All good things in one, you know.
It's true. Chad.
Yeah, so I have the Switch, PlayStation 5, and Steam Deck. And yeah, it's hard. As much as I love the PS5, it's my main console that I play on. It's really hard to argue against the Steam Deck.
It really is.
The Steam Deck's just absolutely incredible, and really is for emulation. I mean, I played Persona 3, which is a really old game. Like, came out, I don't even know when it came out, 04 maybe. And I played essentially a remastered version of it with emulation and mods.
That's awesome.
Yeah, without a doubt, sounds like it's going to be a clean sweep maybe on the Steam Deck. If you don't have one of these things yet, man,
You
really
need to
should
get one.
You really
Unless
should get
Nick
one.
votes for his PC.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I saw something about an OLED.
Mhm.
Steam
There
Deck?
is. Yeah, it's
I
out.
just made one.
Yeah.
And they're not raising prices. They're just slotting it into the current pricing tiers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And
there's literally
Basically,
not a
they
better
bumped
time
out-
to buy one than right now.
They bumped out
Right.
the lowest version to make room for just a new top tier, and everything just shifted down, and there's no more
Mhm.
base version, which is
Yeah.
kind of sad because that thing works just fine.
Right.
Yeah, I
Now-
agree.
now you can
I
buy the
agree.
OLED.
I do have like some issues with it where it seems like my internal storage, no matter what I do, what I delete, just
Yeah.
forever stays loaded with nonsense. I have no idea what's going on. I'm not a big computer
There's-
guy.
Yeah, there's
So-
tuning you can do to make that all a little better. You can move a lot of that junk to your storage, and that way it'll stop installing it there. And
So I tried that.
Makes
I
it
had
easy.
heard that affected the performance of the games, so I didn't try moving it to my SD card. Just because I mean, games run so good on this thing, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there are some games that are running better than they are on console, which is just crazy to me. But yeah, I don't know. I got like a shader cache killer thing that you can like go in and see what is causing the issue, and it doesn't. I don't even see anything on there. I hate storage bars that have other, and it's always the largest bar like that.
Yeah, what
the
is
fuck
that?
Is
And then they
that?
don't
I
tell
want to
you
know
what
what
it
the
is.
other. Yeah, they don't tell you what it is.
That's classic. But yeah, Nick, what do you got?
yeah, so PlayStation 5 for last year, but this year, for it is definitely the Steam Deck as a machine, as a slightly different point than all the ones you have made, which I agree with. For a software company to pivot and say we are going to make a handheld device capable of doing, playing most anything in the library. Eventually every game that comes out will be Steam Deck compatible now. And you can see that with all the AAA games, they come out verified day one. And even unless you're really indie, like, balling on a budget in early access, things are coming out Steam Deck verified. So just
Yeah.
the ambition to move from software to say we're going to break into an otherwise hard space too, right? When we're talking about handheld gaming devices like this,
Mhm.
Sony can't like grasp it. Nintendo just has it for default reasons.
Yeah.
And they were also ambitious. They weren't reserved in the
Yeah.
thing they created. They created a, like Dad said, I think, like, this thing is a tank. Like, this
Yeah.
thing is impressive, and
And
it
it's-
feels right. It's it's not overbearing. There aren't complaints about it. Like
Mhm.
I think my arm gets numb if I lay in bed like a certain
Yeah,
way. And
that's
I'm
how I
holding up
am,
here,
yeah.
but I would call that because I'm old, not because
Yeah, right.
I'm not
I
12.
didn't do my
That's-
stretches,
Yeah.
before.
That's nothing against the machine.
It also like started a trend of non big three companies like making
Yeah.
these portable PCs essentially.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean they really they really did something great here with the Steam Deck. And it's funny because when I first heard that they were making the Steam Deck, I was like, that's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, who is gonna buy Steam Deck? Like,
Yeah.
they don't make
Surprise.
things
We
like
all
they
have it.
it's like, yeah, and I'm like, it's my favorite thing ever. It's probably, I'm not joking, it's probably hands down my favorite gaming purchase I may have ever made was buying the Steam Deck.
Oh, and the fact that it's affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
And they're not selling them to make money. They're selling them to get more people buying more Steam games. It's a wonderful,
I
wonderful.
saw a funny video of the dude just like, yeah, we just also wanted to give people like a way to emulate Nintendo games.
yeah.
And like just
they
railing on
won't
that.
make.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Which gives them bonus points. Not that they needed any. Survey says, Ben, Steam Deck, because there's so much and it's so portable.
My man.
You might have to talk to Civ after this answer, but
Xbox.
everyone can have their own opinions.
No.
He said a Series X. It has 4K, which my computer doesn't, and because of Game Pass, I mostly don't have to buy games unless I want to support the dev. It's like day of demos. Try before you buy. I mean, his reason makes sense because his computer isn't 4K and his Xbox is, but moving on. Ugly Kid Joe Cross says PC too poor to afford anything else. I mean, I feel it. All right, so we have breakout game. Yeah, dude. I used to, bro. I borrowed
Not you.
many games from the library.
I've
Come
seen
on.
your house, bro. I don't even want to hear it.
You're not fooling
I
us.
don't even want to hear it.
It's not my house anymore.
It's not even my house anymore.
I see it right now.
Yeah. All right, breakout game. So I guess you could say, yeah, that's just the game that surprised you the most that you played this year. I'll start us off. So Hades, I'm going to sound like a broken record. Hades, Dredge, Ori and the Blind Forest, Pokemon This Gym of Mine, Pokemon Conquest, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon,
my gosh.
Explorers of the Sky, and then Banner Saga 1 and 2. Man, I can't give it to anything but Hades because, like, how old is this game? Like 2 years. I was like, there's no way that game is as good as everyone hyped it up to be. I was like, I'm that, and it's a style of game that I didn't think I would ever like to play. I never thought I'd play it, and then Nick one day is like, "Hey, you should try this game," and then I did, and then I was like hooked on it for a long time. It's definitely surprised me the most out of all those games. So Hades is my breakout game of the year, even though it's like 2 years late. Dad, your breakout game of 2023.
So I had Dead Cells, Dead Space remake, and Spider-Man 2. Not that like any of these, except for Dead Cells, would surprise me because I had just played Spider-Man Remastered. I knew it was going to be good. Dead Space, I played the original. Everything I saw from both of those games looked amazing. However, I was surprised still of how awesome and how much they stepped up their game from the previous versions, outings, whatever. But I would say Dead Cells kind of surprised me the most because I wasn't sure what to expect. Totally, and I don't think I'd played a game like that other than a little bit of Hollow Knight. So I'd have to give it to Dead Cells because it was something new and fresh. So, a a genre of game that I've not played much of. So that's why it was more of a surprise of how much I liked that style, that roguelike game. Like, because if you think about it, like if someone explains it to you, yeah, you play till you die, but then you start over. It sounds really
Awful.
irritating and
Yeah.
awful. And like, why would you do that to yourself?
No.
But, and it's just like with Hades, like these games are kind of like, you know, there's a rise in them. Very fun. Replay value is super high on these games for me. So I'm going to give it the Dead Cells because of that.
Nice. Chad.
Yeah, so I have Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon just because it just seems like such a long time since we got an Armored Core game, and then this came out and was just freaking fire, to be honest with you.
Oh, so good.
Hogwarts Legacy, just because again, Harry Potter games in the past haven't been great. They've usually been the freaking licensed crappy games that we've gotten in the past. And this one feels radically different from that. Dead Space remake, again, another one that just seemed like out of left field entirely, that we were getting this remake, and I'm glad we did. And I really hope they remake the other ones too. And there has been talk that they're remaking 2 and potentially remaking 3 while changing it. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And then my breakout game of the year is Cyberpunk 2077. So this game was busted beyond all recognition when it released. Probably one of the worst AAA releases that I've ever seen. And I just picked it up 2 weeks ago. Just got a massive update and a DLC in 2023. And this game is absolutely flawless.
Wow.
Again, it has crashed on me once. I've had other games crash on me, so that's not that big of a deal to me. But as far as the glitches in the game, I haven't seen anything, dude. They've fixed everything to my knowledge, and just the awesome immersive game. Like the world is awesome. Again, the city has like deep Japanese history to it, so it's
really
littered with all kinds of Japanese stuff, which is awesome. Huge customization in the game, that between cars and guns and outfits and everything you can think of, immersive things to go do, bars and whatever, strip clubs, anything you can think of. So
what do you play
for
this
me,
on?
PS5.
Okay.
So for me, it's easily Cyberpunk 2077. I was going to give it to Fires of Rubicon originally, but I decided to slip Cyberpunk on here since it really has had a huge turnaround, and I think now is the time to jump in. So if you were even remotely intrigued by this game,
yeah,
you should definitely hop into it.
Hey,
because it's flawless.
Made me buy.
Yeah, it's absolutely flawless.
You can usually get it for a pretty good price too.
Yeah, it's on sale
PS5.
right now, actually. Yeah, it's on sale right now. Yep.
Sweet.
Nice. Nicholas.
Yeah. Man, breakout surprise game. Yeah, I'm gonna echo Mike here and like definitely peg Hades for this. Because again, never played this type of game, but I learned what this type of game was. I've always heard people talk about these types of game, roguelites. And I didn't really ever get that. And when I played it, what it did for me was it refound a game mode, game style that I thought was lost to me. And it was like the original God of War, where it's like I have these like rowdy ass weapons and I'm just slaying things. Very fast paced, very intense. Then you get the boss fights, also very intense. God of War is a little more cinematic, a little bit different game.
Right.
I realized that roguelites are basically what that modern spin has become, with obviously some defining characteristics. But that's what I was like. It's like hack and slash in my brain. Like I'm just button smashing with
Yeah.
some skill through these levels. And that's just so much fun. So I was really glad that I refound that
Yeah.
game style in what is otherwise a plethora of games like this, because it's a fairly popular game mode.
Yeah.
And the scary part of it is when you're like, oh, you die, you got to start over. But like with Sekiro and games like that, it's because they have a skill like exponential chart where like it starts off very slow and it's very painful, but then like it just starts to take off and it like
Yeah.
clicks. And that's where like you and I got, Mike, where it's just like we can just like
Yeah.
cruise through that game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And side note, surprisingly rich story.
Very good story. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other surprising part is like, I was with you too, Mike. I was like, people really liked this game when it came out. I was like, it's got to be really good. I hope it is. I always liked the art style when I saw it on Steam.
Mhm.
But how good the characters are and like the story, like how they have that all set up with that game style is just brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, I go with I tend to go the opposite direction of you, Nick, where it's like something gets a lot of hype and I'm like, yeah, I'm not I refuse to watch, listen, play to that. It probably isn't as good as everyone says, and you're like, oh yeah, I gotta try that sometime. It's probably pretty good.
Yeah, but I hold it up high, so the fact that it lived up to it, I was like, okay.
No.
Like I go into it thinking like it better be damn good, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
It's actually good.
Our survey participants said their breakout game of 2023 was Dead Island 2 by Ben from Dragoon Effect. BioCiv says Slay the Princess. And oh man, I can't wait to play this game that Joe said. He said Sea of Stars. Just play it. That game
looks good, yeah.
looks absolutely phenomenal and got like mega hyped. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the perfect sale opportunity to pick that bad boy up. Yeah, so we got 4 categories left, guys. Come down the home stretch here. In the inverse of our last question, let's talk about the biggest flop or disappointment game that you played this year. Again, I'll start us off. There really was only one for me, and that was Pokemon Violet. I was very excited for the next gen of Pokemon, especially after we had the absolute banger and gem masterpiece, whatever you want to call Legends Arceus. I was like, all right, this franchise, it's finally back. It found its footing again. We're going in new directions. Like everything they did in Arceus was amazing. They can't screw this up. They
And then they did.
royally screwed it up.
Yeah.
Like it is such a bad game. I ended
And
up
surprisingly
finishing
broken for
it.
a
Dude,
That's the
Nintendo
one
game
where
in
you're
general.
catching in an
Right.
open world, or is that something?
that was
No, that's
Arceus. They
Arceus.
kind of introduced that, and then they like half introduced it in Violet and Scarlet, whereas like not fully the Arceus mechanic, but like kind of some of it. They just basically both games were being developed at the same time, and you can tell that they were very timid to fully implement the Arceus stuff because they didn't know how it was going to be received. And then what they just did was they absolutely butchered this game. And then on top
Yeah.
of it, it just like the literal performance like didn't exist. Like it was just
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah, right.
It's basically the cyberpunk of Pokemon games.
Oh,
Yeah. Yep.
With like half cooked ideas and terrible performance. The sad thing is the second DLC just came out, and Jared was telling his Discord that he's just about to beat it or whatever, and someone was like, okay, cool, how's it perform? Any better? Now that we're like a year out almost, and he's like, no. It's still like broken. And so that's sad. They've released 2 DLCs, and we're close to a year, maybe over a year that it's been out, and it still doesn't work. Like that's just so bad. So yeah, biggest flop, Pokemon Violet. Nick, let's go back to you. Did you have a flop or disappointing game this year?
These aren't flops, and I actually have 2 in here because they're not even fairly in this category. They're kind of letdown games, but it's mostly, I think, just my personal experience. Maybe more of a me thing than anything to do with the game. So that said, these are both games that I really wanted to get into and like. They're also very recommended games, and one of them is a technical issue. It's like the first one is Divinity of Original Sin. I've been playing this on the Steam Deck. I couldn't even physically play it on the computer. I must be like handicapped in that regard. I could not figure out how to get out of the intro. Like, here's how you play the game. Fired
That's
up on the Steam
hilarious.
Deck, and I was like, oh look, I can do it now for some reason. Like, it now made sense. So there's that. But then I get further into it, and I'm just either not getting something's not clicking because, like, one, it's just like ungodly hard. There's just way too many things. Like, I'm like level 2 still, but I feel like I should be level 10. But I feel like I've done everything. It's just maybe too much of an open slate. I don't know. I think it's a me thing, not the game. But it's a letdown because I really wanted to like that game and play it more. The other one is a little bit of combination of that, but also a technical issue and that's the Banner Saga. I really wanted to get into this game. I own at least 2 of them. You guys speak highly of them, honestly, obviously. But one, definitely slow. And like you said, Mike, have to be in a mood for it.
Yeah.
But also the combat, I wasn't a huge fan of. It was a little kind of like slow to. It's kind of like the War Tales thing when you have like 20 people on the map. Like, it's not going fast enough.
Yeah.
But then also on the deck, I really wanted to play it on the deck because it seems like a nice thing to do while you're like laying in bed for like 30 minutes.
You'd probably fall asleep, honestly, if you did that.
Yeah, true. But I got to one of the fights and it just loads a black screen with the snow effect coming down, and I could see the banners, but nothing else. No map,
But no
characters,
saga.
no saga. Just
Saga.
banners.
No saga.
Those banners.
And
That was a good one. That was a
That's
good
good.
one.
I hadn't fired up on the PC to get through that.
Yeah.
But at that point, I'm exhausted of like the fighting, and then just I can't play it on the deck. So that was a big letdown for me this year. I was really ready to dive into that style of game and open that door, but fail.
Maybe some other time. That's what it took me.
Well, I'm very interested in Chad to play it on the deck because I want to know what his experience is, because it's a verified game on the deck. The first one is. So I was really upset that I hit such a severe bug, and I've tried numerous things that do it other than like completely restart the game. So
yeah, I attempted to just like kind of rush through the first 2 so I could finally play the third one, and try to, like, in my rushing, generally build and pick the same thing I did on the Switch. And I never ran into the issue you're talking about, but I don't know if I started on PC just to like make sure I avoided that, or if it was all on the deck, or the finer details of that. But yeah, it makes sense. Chad, oh wait, did you pick a winner? Or I guess a loser?
I'm probably most sad about Banner Saga if I had to pick. So
Yeah, okay.
That's my biggest letdown of the year.
Chad, this is a sad category.
Yeah. So this one, unfortunately for Ben, there's only one game that I have on my list that was a big letdown for me, and it's Alan Wake 2. Shockingly, yeah, shockingly
Wow.
so.
And you wanted to give it the
I don't
time
know.
of the year for a proper waiting.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And it's I don't know what it is, man. And I had this problem when I went back and played Alan Wake Remastered, where it's just not jiving with me. I don't know what. I can't even place it, to be honest with you, because on paper I should love this game. Like, it's a detective, like a true detective season 1 style story going on between 2 different characters. I don't know. I don't know if it's like I just don't love survival horror like I used to. This Alan Wake 2 is like a true survival horror versus the first game, which was just like a horror game. So
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man, but I put this game down to pick up Cyberpunk. I played it. I didn't feel like I was really enjoying myself in the slightest bit. I felt like I could give two shits about the story, even though I really, on paper, should have loved it. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I put it down. It's off my console currently. I actually deleted it, so it's probably no hope of going back to it at this point.
Oh,
But yeah, I don't know. It just was not working for me. Can't place the exact reason.
it's unfortunate.
It
Dad.
sucks. It sucks because there's a hefty amount of Control references in it too, and I
Yeah.
loved Control.
And we all
Absolutely
loved that
Control.
one. And by we all, I mean
So-
you and I, because I think you and I are the only ones that played it here. Oh no,
No, Nick played it.
Nick technically
He's
played it, but I forgot we did an episode on it. But really, you were the only one that
Yeah.
beat it.
Yeah.
But then I went back and played it, and I fell in love with it. It was an amazing game.
Right.
That was fun. That was a fun little journey on YouTube.
Yeah.
Dad, sir.
I can't honestly say that I've encountered this.
Wow.
It's either because I've
must
been
be
super
nice.
lucky, or like everything you guys have recommended throughout the year has been
Stellar. Yeah, we
stellar.
recommend your games for you. So
And
Man.
yeah, so like you guys have gone through the crap, so I don't have to. So
I feel like
yay.
that should be our tagline. I mean, Dad,
we go through the crap, so you don't have to.
make an ad for us. I mean, get it out to the people so they know.
Showboys changed my life.
Yeah.
I now efficiently spend all my money on the right consoles and games.
the right games.
That's awesome.
I don't spend less.
Um,
I actually spend more, but it's a good more.
And it's worth it.
All right. Well,
All right,
I guess that's good for you then. But as we bow out of this category, I think it's only appropriate that we leave with this.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Real tragedy.
I know you hate to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's move on to a more positive note. We're just gonna, these last four categories are back and forth, just an emotional roller coaster. So now
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about the most slept on game. Oh wait, I gotta go through the survey. So our survey participants, Ben, he said Layers of Fear remake. BioCiv said Don't Scream. It was a beautiful horror game with a good premise. Don't make noise into the mic on your character in game dies. Very cool environments to explore, but it was not enough. You walk around in the dark forest for 18 minutes waiting for jump scare after jump scare. Bought it, beat it my first run, refunded it.
Nice.
There you go. That's an
A way to do
approach
it.
that I feel like we should try. Like with Steam.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very
Yeah.
like just play through a game fast enough where you beat it in like a day or two and then refund it.
This game sucked.
Yeah, it was terrible. Sir, you had 60 hours in 2 days.
Yeah, you had 60 hours. in 2 days.
It was terrible. And then Ugly Kid Joe Cross, he said Exoprimal, just not a good game, overhyped, and just made me want to play Overwatch. Yeah, you hate to see when you're let down. So the next category we have most slept on game. So this would be the most underrated game of 2023. I'll just get mine out of the way. Hades. It's just Hades. I don't need to talk anymore about Hades. Dad, was there a game that was severely underrated coming into this year that you played and you're like, wow, I'm really glad I played this?
Valheim, because I had never played it. And I'm like, man, I've been missing out. Like that's the game that I feel like I really missed the train on, and now I'm trying to play catch up. Absolutely Valheim, and I love it.
My man.
Chad.
Yeah, so mine's going to go. I have Armored Core on there, Like a Dragon Nation, Hogwarts Legacy, and it's going to go to Like a Dragon Ishin, just because it's not getting the praise that it really should get. And I think it's probably partially due to its Japanese audio. That alienates a good chunk of the population who don't want to play a game that's in Japanese. But that being said, it's a phenomenal game. And if you're into samurai stuff, you're probably at least partially into Japanese audio in some capacity, because there's a lot of samurai stuff that is exclusively in that. So you should definitely check it out.
Are they making another Like a Dragon?
Yeah, so it is
right?
Yakuza. Yeah, it's Yakuza, which has now become Like a Dragon instead of the Yakuza branding. So yeah, they're popping these things out like at least once a year, it seems.
Nick.
Yeah, most of that game,
Infinite Wealth.
it's not Valheim. But every time I'm playing Valheim, I'm like, why aren't more people playing Valheim?
Right?
It kind of makes me think it should be Valheim, because like people are sleeping on it. They're not logged in. They're not playing.
There's something wrong with them.
Something wrong with them.
Except for Chad. There's nothing
Except for
wrong with Chad.
Chad doesn't have to play Valheim.
No, he's
He gets passed.
the exception.
Yeah, he has to play Sengoku once it's a finished game.
Yes.
We'll tell you when.
We'll let you
Most
know when
slept
it's
on
ready.
game. This one's tricky, but I think it's important is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Obviously, if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, fantastic game. It's not without its issues, but scaling's a little weird, but it's just incredibly fun in terms of how they captured like Dragon Ball Z fighting. I think there's like Xenoverse is like a PC game. Well, it's also on PlayStation. That's like a different style, but also that's supposed to have a really good capture of this fighting style. But Kakarot is just super accessible too. Like you can pick it up, play it, have fun. Battles are fun. It just really captures the I'm going all out Dragon Ball Z power ups, just crushing things. So I think more people should play it, especially if they like Dragon Ball Z. And even if they don't, that's how they should get into it.
Nice. The survey says,
Survey says
Killer Frequency. It's awesome, and I didn't hear any of the podcasts I listened to talk about it. So I did a season on it on Dragoon Effect. So that of course is done. Civ says yet another zombie survivors. It released in July, and basically no one has heard of it. It's in the new genre that they're trying to call reverse bullet hell. It's extremely gameplay, avoiding so many enemies on the screen, very addicting, very casual because there's no punishment for failure other than starting another run, and you're always progressing. And then Ugly Kid Joe Cross says Disney Speedstorm, free and is really good once you play for a while. Released with no fanfare, and it is Disney. So I'm guessing Speedstorm makes me think of maybe Disney Mario Kart. Not familiar with the game, but that'd be my guess on what that game is. I'm sure we could probably look it up and tell you exactly what it is, but that's what the survey says. And then we're going to end this emotional roller coaster. We just went up the hill with our most underrated game, and now we're going to go right back down the hill with most overrated game of 2023. And mine again is really easy, Pokemon Violet, because for some reason people still play this game all the time and talk about how great it is.
Oh,
Even though it literally sucks. No, well, it's a weird thing. It's this weird
coming
thing
from
that,
you though. That's huge. That's
It is
huge
huge.
coming from Mike.
Well, thank you. I know how to admit when things are not going well. But yeah, no, Nick, it lives in this weird space where like the people who play it are like, this game is broken and sucks,
help us.
but yet I love it and will not stop playing it and will continue to buy everything that's released for it. I refuse to jump on that train, and this is my pick for overrated game of 2023.
Decent.
Nice.
Nick.
Decent. Me? Every popular AAA game that I didn't play this year. Hyped and overrated and overhyped. All of them. Because I didn't play any of them.
Nice.
Nice. Chad?
Yeah, it's Alan Wake 2, without a doubt in my mind. I'm like really trying not to say the game sucks, but I'm close to saying that.
Oh man,
It's all right. Just say it so that way we get a lot of angry comments. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Oh, if we're
It's
going for
pretty
that.
brutal, man. Because like that game just looked amazing. Like,
I
man, they
agree.
really hyped it up.
I agree, man. I agree. And maybe you might think it is. I don't know. We might have different tastes. I just couldn't get
No,
into
but
it.
I trust your judgment. After all
I
this
mean,
time,
It makes sense because the people in Discord and stuff that are like mega team Alan Wake 2 were also like, why does Chad like Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
So I'm starting to see the correlation here.
Yep.
I changed my answer. Lego Fortnite. If we're going for,
Oh, okay. Bring all the angry comments. Come on.
yes.
We just want the
Overrated.
engagement.
If you weren't gonna do it, I was gonna do it.
Nice.
It's definitely Fortnite. Like, it's not new by any means, but it's
All of
just
So
Fortnite.
overrated.
Not
Yes.
Lego
all of,
Fortnite.
not just
everything.
Lego Fortnite. All
Yeah.
of Fortnite. Jordan might be a little
Overrated.
upset by that comment, but it's just like, come on,
Yeah.
guys. This
Ugly
is
Kid Joe
so
Cross
done.
So boring.
he's been putting in the time on the Lego Fortnite lately.
has he?
Yep.
Yeah, he had a nice little stream the other day.
Just
I
give
think
us
it's
a
funny
Lego
that-
survival game.
I mean, that is Lego Fortnite.
What?
A Lego survival game.
No, like actual Lego,
It
not
has to be a
Fortnite.
brick-built- It's not a brick built
Hmm.
world. That's my issue with it.
Yeah, it's
True.
Fortnite with
Lego
Lego
skins.
assets.
Yeah.
No,
Lame.
The
no.
animations, the
Need
sound
an
effects, everything
actual
is still
Lego.
Fortnite.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to say this is going to trigger a lot of people.
Yes.
It made my character a girl, and I couldn't change it. What is this woke 2023 like agenda forcing
Fortnite's
me to play as a
randomized.
female? And I
Fortnite's
couldn't-
randomized until you buy a skin.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
random.
exactly. It's lame.
I was a dude,
Um,
a chick, and then I was a dude again. I think this goes back and forth.
You're just
Wow.
switch back and forth, huh?
It's
You're
unbelievable.
gender
Yeah, as many
fluid.
times as you want.
Mhm.
It's like cup of coffee
There you go.
Iced.
All right.
or hot.
And then the survey results.
Whatever he says.
Ben says Super Mario Brothers Wonder. It's mediocre as a game, which means as a Mario game, it's really low.
Ouch.
Biosiv says Lies of P, a Bloodborne Pinocchio sounds like fun, but I was one of the people
It
who on
does.
release tried it, felt the controls needed serious work, and never looked back. And
But
then
it's highly rated, but it's overrated.
what?
Overrated, yeah.
Yeah. And
It
then
did look sweet though, by the way.
it does. The concept sounds really cool. Ugly Kid Joe Cross says, I want to say Spider-Man because the story seemed short for all the hype, but I'm going with Hogwarts Legacy. Just seemed like it would be so much more. Chad
choice.
I can see him like trying not to like snap
Yeah, I
his
mean,
pen in half right now.
Nah, it's a phenomenal game. I don't care. It's winning game
Chad's
of the year
like
all over the
judging
place.
That's it.
So
That's a game that it doesn't matter what anyone says.
no,
It's just-
it
it's-
stands on itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Absolutely.
guys. It's that time. Game of the year. Game of the year. Chad, start us off, my dude.
I will. I have 4 nominations. Tears of the Kingdom, which we've talked at length. All of these I'm going to be no wind whatsoever. Dead Space remake, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, and Spider-Man 2. And my winner for Game of the Year
Mm.
is Spider-Man 2.
Shocking. Spider-Man
It's
2.
just, it's phenomenal, dude. I don't. The people that are saying that it's samey and it feels the same as the first game didn't play enough of it. That's just how it is.
they
They
didn't.
didn't get to the point where it changes drastically. And yes, is it a shorter game? No, it's not a shorter story. So if you're saying that, you're just wrong. And B, it doesn't need to be any longer than it is. It's the perfect length. We don't need. I would have loved to have a 100-hour Spider-Man game. Would have loved it, but we don't need it. They
yeah.
told the story. They told
I
it
agree.
flawlessly. And,
You know, That sounded like a little bit of wind, but I'm
A little bit of
okay
wind.
with
I
it.
apologize. I
No, it's
apologize.
okay.
It
I had to
but
totally
take
brings-
shots back. I had to
it
take
brings-
some
Justified.
shots back.
You're justified.
It brings up a good point though that I would like to make. You know, I could use some shorter games, honestly.
Sure.
I just don't have that much. That's the reason I haven't started Red Dead, because I've heard of how incredibly like long and how much like all there is to do in that game. I feel like I also say this being a person who has played 30 hours of Valheim this week, so take this as you will. But there's something about a game that's like 100 hours that's just like I don't think I will ever play that, because that seems like an incredibly long amount of time. And you don't like a game doesn't have to be extremely long to be a great game.
I
Like
agree.
just do what you need to do
and
in the amount of time you need to do it, and then it'll
Yeah.
be good.
And just to clarify, Spider-Man 2 for the main story is 17 hours. That's not
Yeah, dude.
exactly a short
That's not
game.
a short game.
Main completionist, which is how I play a majority of my games, is almost 30 hours. So it's not a short. You're acting like it's a Call of Duty campaign and it came out, it was like 4 hours long. I don't get it. And it's quite literally almost the exact same length as the first game. So I'm just not getting it, man.
People are just hating on it to hate on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. And I can't stand that crap.
Dad, your game of the year.
So I've got Spider-Man 2, Dead Space, and Tears of the Kingdom.
Almost the exact same.
So
yep.
basically
almost
Chad's nominees.
Yep. I love each of these games for different reasons.
Makes sense.
But it's got to go to Spider-Man 2. And as far as the story goes, they put the perfect amount of story in the perfect length of time to tell it
It is.
without
I
being
agree.
rushed. There's just nothing else to say. I mean, they did it very well.
Nick.
Me? Game of
Yes.
the year?
Yep. That's where we
Hey.
are.
Hades.
Man. It's gonna really drag this
You
out.
can't say Valheim.
What? I can't say about. Well, no, that's the game of the year every year. So that
It's
one-
like the game of Nick's life. Game of
Yeah, no, it
game
really
of
is.
Valheim
there's
is
so-
life. So
Yeah, there's so many games where they're like, play this. I'm like, but Valheim exists. Why would I? But
I'm actually playing Valheim right now. You guys just
no, you're
don't
not.
know.
But nodding back to was probably like a top 5 game. Red Dead Redemption 2 is just gonna have to take game of the year for me. I know it's not a newer game, but it's a fantastic game, and it's big enough that it does take people a while to get to it, and it's definitely worth getting to eventually. Just be in the vibe, get
Yeah.
ready to dive in and enjoy every moment of it. And you'll probably want to play it again by the time you get to the end of it. But
It's
the
on my-
problem
on
is
my
like,
list.
when am I gonna put all that time into a game again that I've already played? But
Yeah. Might just have to be one where I just like chip away, you know.
you just
I
gotta
don't,
own it.
I don't know how else I'm gonna be able to do it. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2. That's a solid choice. For my game of the year nominees, I have Hades, of course, Dredge, of course. Pokemon This Gym of Mine. I know you guys scoff every time I mention Pokemon, but this was a truly brilliant fan game with a really, really cool concept, and I absolutely loved it. It was super fun. If you love Pokemon, I highly suggest you try this game out, This Gym of Mine. Super fun. And then Banner Saga 1 and 2. Hades. It's going to be Hades, of course. Hades.
You liked Hades.
I did. But I wanted to
Not
say
much,
something
wow.
because it goes with the point of Chad saying, like, you probably didn't play it enough. There were people once when we were, talking about Hades in Discord and whatnot, who was like, I just don't get it. Why do you, I mean, I don't get this game. Like, why do you like it? I tried it like 2 or 3 times and then I just put it down. And it's like, that's not you have
not
to play
enough.
it. Like, you have
It's
to
my-
play it.
It's my
multiple
biggest,
times.
yeah, my biggest pet peeve with games, dude. When people play it for like 2 hours, just say, "Oh, it's trash."
Yeah.
I can't
But
stand
it's
it.
but
You haven't even
literally
broken into it.
this
Yeah,
style
I
of
can stand
game
it.
is designed to be played over and over and over and over and over again. And if you
Yeah.
don't play it over and over and over and over and over again,
You
you're not
don't
going to get the
progress.
full. You're not going
Right.
to get the full effect. And again, against your logical thinking, like even though you're restarting every time you die and fail, you're progressing.
Yep.
Even though you're not progressing at the same time,
Yeah,
like you
it's-
are
it's-
progressing.
It's weird.
So if you're not repeating and playing and playing and repeating and slowly progressing, then you're not playing the game the way it's designed to be played.
Right.
And it's
So-
crazy. Like you beat the game, and it really feels like it just started. Like
Yeah.
you're like, holy crap! Like the way they designed that game in particular. I don't know about all of those types of game, but that game, the way the narrative works into the mechanics of the game,
Yeah,
there's
brilliant.
no way you can say you play that game 2 hours and did like even 5 runs and be
No.
like, I got everything I could out of that game. There's no way. It's impossible
No, because the story grows every time you die.
every time.
And every time you beat the game.
And every
Yeah.
time you beat the game.
Spoiler alert, like the story continues to unfold
Which is
each
really
time
cool.
you beat the game.
It's such a cool concept. I love
Yeah,
it.
no, it's literally brilliant. Game of the year. I understand why I got so hyped when it came out, and I'm here for it. Just a little
And-
bit late to the party.
And the artwork.
Tis my life, you know.
So good.
So good.
And
Music.
dude, the
so
music is so good. Man, that should be a category next year. But
Oh.
our survey participants, their games of the year: Ben from Dragoon Effect, Alan Wake 2, BioCiv, Red Dead Redemption 2. It was graphical powerhouse and still looks amazing 5 years later. The story was compelling and really captivated me. If I remember correctly, there was at least one part in the game where he said he literally cried.
There's
Mm.
probably a couple points,
Yeah.
honestly.
If you're
I
feeling
think he-
sentimental, there's a lot of sentimental stuff that goes on in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ugly Kid Joe Cross says Tears of the Kingdom music, gameplay, story took me to another place while playing, and the escape is what I needed.
Mm.
There you go. Guys, we made it through our
Mm.
our 2023 year in review. What's playing edition? Man, it took us 2 episodes to do our year in review, but I think
There
it
was
was
so
well
much.
worth it. There was a
Yeah.
lot.
This year was
Um,
crazy.
But yeah, you guys have any closing remarks before we get out of here?
Sounds like Tears of the Kingdom was overhyped.
Yeah, I'll probably play it like 5 years.
Yeah. More than that, because Nintendo never discounts their games until they're
True.
like 20 years old. So
And
So
they
I
never
probably,
put out
I
another
probably
like-
will never.
The
Yeah.
next console comes out, and then it's
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll never be able to play it. I'll have to emulate it on the Steam Deck. You know?
Yeah.
Actually, probably
Not a
could
bad
emulate it
idea.
on the Steam Deck right
probably
now.
good.
Yeah, you can.
Just install
Um,
the Switch software.
If
on the Steam.
anything,
They-
can run a Switch game, it would be the Steam Deck.
They have in RetroArch and Emu Deck. If you guys use that,
Yeah, there
they
is.
have a Switch
Yeah.
emulator in there. I just haven't tried it yet.
That's nuts.
But yeah, here TLDR of 2023. Buy a Steam Deck. There you go. That's all you need to know. And Alan Wake sucks. Spider-Man 2 is the greatest game ever made. And Mike likes Pokemon. So there you go.
Valheim is the greatest game ever.
So much
80s was
goodness.
also notable.
Yeah, guys, leave a comment though. Seriously, let us know your game of the year, and if you want to be super cool, like let us know your winner for each category we went through tonight. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube because we are trying to give away the OLED. So subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, tell your mom to subscribe, and your dad, and
Even your
I
mad
don't know,
dad.
your children. I don't know, your neighbor. Tell everyone to subscribe. And yeah, tune in next week. We just did our Patreon episode for December last night, and we sat here and we planned out the first quarter of 2024. And I'm actually super excited for a lot of the topics that we picked. I think the first early 2024 is going to be a straight banger. There is a lot of good content that we're going to be talking about. So hang around, and yeah, hope you had a nice Christmas. See you next year when we what are we doing? Reviewing our 2023 gaming goals and setting new ones for 2024. So double what's playing action. See you guys next week.
Mike
So
would run
Chad,
quick.
say something funny.
I have to work 24 hours tomorrow.
Oh.
It's
Go to-
so funny.
Good. That's sad.
All right. I'm leaving because I'm
Okay.
literally actually
Yep, that's
in
fine.
the
You should all
act
your
of
stuff uploaded.
urinating right now.
Hit
I'm-
end.
I'm
Hit end
actually
and then
peeing
go.
my pants.